Looks good.
Yeah.
Except the title. See, there's one little minor thing. I'll let it run for a second. The title, it's last week's right there. See it? So,
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
See? You forgot about the title.
Right there on the entry. Duh. Jeez.
That's
Hey,
thing.
Enoch Tim, good to see you. Can you hear me? Sound check, sound check. I guess that's a yes. Awesome. What's up, Dale? Boy, I'm like brain dead. I'm like, what button do I hit now? All right. Hey, Mystical, good to see you. John will be logging in any minute, so he's finished up dinner with his family. So I'm giving him a reprieve from the boring preludes. Even though I got a brand new, nice, really cool entry screen coming up. So I'm always trying to improve on things.
Yep.
Check something here. We had Infinite Dimensions giveaways on Thursday night. They went over really big. Some cool buildings in there. They got an awesome looking ruins to the bridge setup, which downloaded, but we just haven't had time. Bill's so backlogged right now. I mean, I honestly, you know,
You piled too much.
I piled
to
too
paint.
much.
Yeah.
Too much.
Literally piled too much.
Right
to
now,
paint.
He's working on a special project for the Game with Ed right now.
Oh,
which
cool.
I cannot
Oh,
discuss
then
that at
it's
all.
coming up soon too. So
Yeah.
you put a torch on him. Yeah.
I don't want to give that one away.
No, but you have to make sure he's. You have to supervise it so he gets done now.
Oh,
because
he will.
It's
He
coming
always,
Yeah.
He always gets done.
up. Yep.
So. What's up, Michael? Well, Moku, Lomas. Yes, so Michael, Matthew Barnabas will be making his return as a spoiler in the Grand Joust. Both you and Surf Vargren, the Unmerciful, the last two champions. The best, though, is Alyssa saying what she's going to do to Luke's character. It's been hysterical.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's so funny. Absolutely comical. I think whoops, that was a shout out for Troll Lord. There's a minor wrong button there. Yeah, well, you will see what I got in mind. Hey, Michael. Thanks for taking care of that minor issue there. Really appreciate it. You said we got to arrange it, get you and your family over here for a hangout. They're not dice, they're weapons, but like Friday night during Call of Cthulhu, the percentile dice for me were rolling real low, which was great. You know, so it's like, woohoo! Hey, Ben. Awesome! Yeah.
Trollord Games, join the fray.
Bum, bum, bum. All right, that's it. Yes, nice, Phantom. Awesome. Good stuff. All right. Throw out my live reminders to a bunch of those that may be, you know, tired. Who would that be? I'm looking up. Cool. You got a copy of Hard and Hools? Oh, Shattered. That's awesome. Thank you for doing that. That's great. Hopefully you really like it. Whoops, I hit a wrong button. I hit two wrong buttons here. I got one more ad to do here real quick. So great to hear. I'm glad you liked it. So that was yeah, a lot of that stuff is supplemental, you know, it's rules I use in my campaign. So very cool. You got a little tidbit of it. By the way, Shattered, names have been changed to protect the innocent, if you understand what I'm saying. Hey, Matt. Carlos is a master of that. Portrait Works is out now.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I forgot to.
Yeah, you got, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no problem. I'm glad to hear it. Greyhawk Creative Stream Team. By the way, for this one they gave me they gave me a slideshow, and I was like, well, you don't mind if I add proprietary music that I own the rights to? And like, no. So. Awesome. Just got a minute or two here. I got a brand new entry screen next. I kind of accidentally hit a wrong button and entered it, but I got the back room at Lord Peak's Haven. So. Someone to Alyssa because I saw her green dot. Live if bored. Thanks, Greyhawk. We're guestless still, by the way, everyone. We're still waiting. Oh, John did message me to be on any minute, so we're good. It's Anna and myself, which, we can babble on. But I got an idea. Come up with that once in a blue moon. Not yet, Dale. Not yet. And by the way, you may have what the giveaway is for, and if you don't, Ever Mysterious Tim's gonna hop on. If you do, we're gonna have we have a replacement here. New screen. Yo, John. Magic portal.
Hello, Anna.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, good. Good to see you.
Likewise.
Oh, now I understand why you have a baseball cap on. You have to show off your merch.
That's right. Yes, we rep the double here. We got the blue box and the Lord Gazelle.
Yeah, that's it.
Cool.
The Ever Mysterious Tim will be joining us, and Chuck will be. Hey, what's up there, Naz? Thanks, man, for coming on, Chad, and you too, Josh. Just kidding. Hey, Rob Fandom. Everyone's hopping on tonight. Good to see everyone.
Yeah.
Hey, Keith. Good to see you.
Rob did a great job today.
Awesome. Yeah, I caught a decent amount of it.
Yeah.
Lurk. I was lurking the whole time, but I did catch some of it there. Look at that. We almost already have a freaking hype train. Do you believe that? I believe it.
I believe it. We got that kind of community. Had some nice lore crossover today. Hexdor was mentioned, which has also been a topic in the Spying Castle stuff happening in my Greyhawk Awakening, and I've been using your heraldry, Anna. That came in super handy.
Awesome.
And then there's a little Altamira shout out today on the
Awesome.
stream.
Alrighty, so let's we got the hype. So let's hit this up here. Good. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Everyone's got shirts on tonight. Oh my gosh. Good evening.
Yep.
Good to see everyone. As people are rolling in here, I'm J.K. Lorgazumba, and with me, as always, my partner in crime, Anna Meyer.
Hello.
Tonight's special guest, and this is really going to be a lot of theoretical, but some other kind of. I think it'll be a really fun discussion tonight. John Birchfield, Blue Box. John, welcome.
Thank you, Jay. Always a pleasure, and always fun to hang out with Anna.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, but he said he had a good time when he was in my house, right? So
Yeah.
in the basement.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
So the ever mysterious Tim will be coming on because Tim always harasses John one way or another, whether it's good or bad. And then Chuck, if Chuck can get on, he will get on. Chuck has Chuck things to do. That's code. So, but the giveaway tonight, I'm setting this up right now. I'm putting it out there. Because we're gonna be talking about Aired a fair amount. And because we're going to be, John's going to be starting his campaign in Aired, we're going to give away a hardback codex of Aired with shipping. And then at least 3 of those in digital PDF. If you already have it and you win, we will substitute something else you don't have. Okay? Sound good? I thought that was nice.
I think it was very nice.
But then, I can beat up Chuck because he's, running late and said, I'll definitely be there. So here's the Codex of Aired. We're going to give that one away in hardback, at least 3 in digital. And then if you already have it, we'll swap out, we'll do something else for you. We don't want, if you win, we want you to get something from our great sponsor, Troller Games, that you can utilize. So tonight, I know John's starting a new campaign. Which everyone's excited about, and it's got a mixture of Aired content / Greyhawk content / John's own content. So I said, John, let's have a discussion. And this may sound really simplistic, but a lot of people don't do this. And I'll explain what I mean in a second. And that's homebrewing in a published setting.
Yes. No, absolutely. So first of all, again, thank you for having me on, Jay, and it's always good to be here. And thanks for everybody popping on the stream early, kicking us off with a hype train. That's the right way to start.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I'm very excited. New campaigns are not things that happen, all that frequently in the kind of games that we play. So my previous game went 3 years, and that was 3 years and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of streamed gaming. And it is nice to also bring those sorts of story arcs to a conclusion. I think we've all been part of campaigns that just kind of dribble away or kind of fade out. Not everyone keeps them going for 43 years, Jay. But yeah, so it was a really successful campaign based in Paizo and Galarian, and fantastic role play. Great stories were told, and also brought in some new players. As you know, I love to do, Jay. I get players that have only played 5e before and maybe only played a few games. And then, they get to be part of the community and see kind of how we run our games. And they really find that they like the style of game that we play. And sometimes they like the crunchiness of the older school rule systems and the spell stuff. And so that was great. Now we are kicking off this Sunday, the 4th. It'll be my normal 1:30 to 4:30 Central time slot every other week. So I will be streaming every Sunday, but one Sunday will be my campaign. And then the alternating Sunday, we have another Greyhawk campaign kicking off on our channel. Rory, you know him as Anaho. He is kicking off a campaign called Fall of Red Dawn that will start on the 11th. So every other week, we'll alternate between these 2 campaigns. And Rory, if you know anything about him, Jay, he is... He is like so detail oriented.
Oh yeah.
He's pulling all kinds of lore. It's going to be steeped in Greyhawk goodness. And then Rob, Phantom NJ, is actually helping post lore for both those campaigns in our Discord channel. But yeah, I'm super excited about the campaign. It is sort of originally started with the idea that we have a sponsor in Troll Lord that is so active with us. Steven and Chuck, they don't just, send us merch. They join us on streams. They raid into us. They are just great members of the community. And I thought, well, what better way to really show support to our sponsor than to take Steven's brainchild, the world of Aired, and bring that to life in the way that I like to run games at Blue Box. And then the happy byproduct was when I found out that the City of Altamira box set was in the works, and that it was now officially okay canon to have Altamira in both Greyhawk and Aired. And so that immediately told me what I wanted to do for my campaign. So when we kick off a week from today, it will be Altamira Aired style.
Yes, and look at this mofo. He's got the hat too, and
look at
Tim,
that.
Tim,
Yeah.
your screen's like flickering.
You're flickering.
No, that's just the light that shines off of Tim's.
Yeah.
That's the power. Okay.
Sure.
I don't know why it's doing that.
That is weird.
Honestly, if I could make mine do that,
you
I
have
would. That's pretty
do you
cool.
have a background or something? Is your background on?
Oh,
You
you
know-
know, maybe. I don't know.
runs
Let me see.
You have the disco light going in
Yeah.
the ceiling there.
Yeah, you got something. I don't want any.
Yeah.
I don't want any of the kids, anyone watching to get like.
seizure.
"Ah!" And Chuck will join us if he can. That's all I can say. Chuck will join us if he is able to. But we do have the giveaways: a hardback codex of Aired, and at least 3 digital copies of that. So, yeah, it's weird, Tim. It's like don't move. But all right. So
I had selected a background, but
Yeah.
there was no background material.
that's what
for
it
it.
was. Yeah, that's what it was. Absolutely.
It was for something earlier. I had originally for a different Zoom for somebody else had a tropical background
That's
at a beach,
nice.
but that's not my.
that was probably for work or something, or because you don't want. Yeah, I understand. You don't want scared.
Don't ask any questions, Jay. Don't ask any questions.
I won't ask questions. So, real quick, while we have all these people on, I wanted to do one little sidebar. I probably hit the wrong button. Here we go. I want to show this because we had 1 or 2 new events. I want to show everyone who has not signed up yet, or you're thinking about playing in a game, what is open still. Let's do this real quick because this will tie into everything. We all 4 of us are DMing events live. All of us.
Very nice.
Yes, all of us in this discussion. So, for example, this is a live stream event. Gray Space Turning Death Watch. This is actually a Gray Space game. Bipolar Dice Roller. He's live streaming it. He only has 1 sign up, so there's a nice one there. There's some really like King's Castle has 3 sign ups still. Casey's BK Tourneys still have plenty of slots. There's still some Greyhawk Reborns. Here, White Plume Mountain by Roberts. White Plume Mountain has 2 signups, and that's a live stream. Okay, that's available. More BK Tourney, more Greyhawk Reborn. So this is Amy's 2nd game, I believe. That one, let me check that one. Orkshire Hardby. No, that's Lee. Lee Hawk doesn't have any signups yet. I would love if someone would play in Lee's game.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and I'm just saying that would be a cool one to get into. There's plenty of spots here. This is brand new, Old Debts. This is actually a really cool game that's going to be taking place in the Great Kingdom in Sea of Medesia, and it's being done in 3x and then be done in 5e as well. So just note, there's plenty of open. There's like at least 25 to 30 events with open signups for playing in games. Feel free if you haven't signed up yet. It's a nominal fee of $5 just to cover the cost of the site, and plenty of games to get in. You also have Indicarus's Zeef games, which only has 1 sign up for each. And that's a crime for Indicarus. John is fantastic. I would get in on those too. I mean,
There's a lot of great games, a lot of great DMs in there.
Absolutely. So if you have time and you haven't, and you're on the fence, I know a lot of people in the audience have signed up, and I appreciate that, but there's plenty of content there to go around to get involved in, and even some live stream games to get in on and join in on the fun. And that's the first weekend of October, September 30th through October 2nd. Okay. So when we talk about live streaming, homebrewing in a published setting, first thing that comes to my mind is, and I don't know, John, if you get these posts as much as I see on Greyhawk Online and Cannon Fire. New people come on and they say, I'm afraid I'm going to ruin the cannon.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Go ahead. Anyone want to respond to that? That's simple point.
I'm sacrilegious against canon anyway, so I will ruin anything if it's what I'm playing, because it's my world.
Exactly.
Well, I think that it's a very common thing. I think particularly with Greyhawk, because there is such a strong sense of canon. You do have a big community, many of whom have played for a long time, and you have this sense of a I don't want to use the term patriarchy because it's not gender specific, but a sort of governing board of people who've played it for so long, yourself included, Jay, that people want to be sensitive to quote unquote canon. But I think you were fantastic about this, even with me when I first started streaming my Greyhawk stuff a couple of years ago, telling me not to worry about it. And yeah, to the degree that we can riff off of each other or share things back and forth, do crossovers in the campaigns, that's great. But as long as you're paying some sense of homage to the original structure and then have fun with it and grow it in whatever way you want, that's fun.
Absolutely. Anna, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think first of all, the Greyhawk community is richer when there's more versions of Greyhawk out there, so to speak. So you can kind of pick ideas from others. What if we all played exactly just the modules that were originally published? Greyhawk, the community would be much more boring to watch and participate and learn from if we weren't for inventing our own stuff. But I agree, we need to. It's a bit like the loose rules of you break the rules, but you need to understand them before you break them.
Exactly.
Yeah, but don't take that literally. You don't have to study everything in order to deviate from it. But if you want to, it depends on your ambitions. If you just want to run your home games, anything counts as long as your players are happy. Do whatever you want. But if you want to step it up and start publishing content for the Greyhawk community, streaming and stuff, then you probably need to have a little bit more of a vision if you want to reach a wider audience, so to speak. So you need to have a thing. But I think, like, look at Jay and John and Tim and myself. We have kind of been accepted because we have broken a few rules, but it's been kind of vision we've had, so to speak, and we've broken more than a few rules, so to speak.
And no one has accepted Tim. No.
No, he's the ever mysterious.
I just
he's the outlier. So, yeah, he's the outlier. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
but I think it's I think it's important to break the rules a bit and make your own flair, because it's your campaign, you're homebrewing it, so to speak.
Yeah, well, if I could take just as an example with that, in my first book of Greyhawk Awakening, I began in Hamlet, right? But it was Hamlet 40 years later, so you had some of the original denizens were there, alive, much older. Others were gone and moved on. But by paying homage to that early on, where you could have, Jeru Ashstaff and the Grove and Brother Smith, and you still have Rufus and Byrne, and you're sort of telling these familiar stories, but they're 4 decades advanced.
Yep.
And sorry, spoiler alert if you haven't watched book 1, but book 1 ends with the absolute sacking and slaughter of Hamlet. And many of these faithful characters are hung from a tree, nailed, it was a gruesome ending, but it was made all the more poignant because these were familiar characters that were sort of honored in that structure, and then everything was just kind of crunched up.
Yeah. And that was the cool thing about it, was you were able to damn the torpedoes on that, and it did, and those characters still exist. Still, it's not like you threw those characters away either. They're still available to be played or utilized.
Well, as Jay reminds me, everybody can be resurrected.
Everyone can be resurrected.
All you need is one molecule.
Hey, Tino, and R.A. Salvatore proved that no one ever dies in an R.A. Salvatore novel for long. We know that, and I can bust his stones because he's never been on here. So, yeah, I'm gonna tell a little story. It's 1987. Tim has imbibed multiple Foster's cans, the big Foster's cans, okay? And also has wiped out in a previous adventure. We played 3 adventures this weekend down in Fairfax, Virginia. We finished Temple of Elemental Evil. Tim ran his adventure where he killed the entire party except for 2 characters. One of them was Gazumba in the first or second round. Okay, that was the second adventure. And the third adventure was kind of a throw-in. And the Knights of Ulick head up to a spot south of Selene, north of all the Ulick outposts, and say this is a perfect spot for us to build 3 or 4 fortresses right in this spot. And this is where, and I'm going to throw this up here real quick here.
The Cavalier training.
It was it was called first the Cavalier site, and this is 1987. And this is, and you may know now what I'm talking about, and that's how long ago this took place. And I'll just boom in here, and that is right here where this is now. All right, 1987. In that adventure, Tim's character Murdoch the Mighty had something very bizarre happen to him. Ran across Makarash the Elf Mauler, and in one fell swoop with a shorter sharpness critical hit, cut his right arm and left leg off in one swing. And we're trying to figure out how that's possible.
And I role played it fantastically.
Yes. So he had to have his leg out, and he stretched for it like this, right off in one swing. And that was how this whole thing started. And from there, we had all the fortresses and stuff. And then, hey, let's build a wall around it. And that's how it came to. And I'm going to show you. It's popped up. The map as of right now, Anna. The map at not your map. The map, the shitty map as of right now that we use is this. This piece of. I'll cover myself because I'm in shame.
It's really more of a concept map, not really a map.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, that is it. So, yeah, and
well, each of us chose a certain shape for our citadels, right? Each a different geometric shape.
Yeah,
well, those are the circles and the squares.
Yes, so there was a pyramidal one just like in Greyhawk, right? And that's, let me blow this up a little bit more. Where did you guys?
That one?
Okay. Oh, you know what? What am I doing? I'm supposed to be putting it over here. I'm an idiot. See, everyone, I'm a dumbass.
Yeah, mine's round, right?
There you go. Yeah. So here's Swain's Tower, and I'll show you a picture of that. There's Swain's Tower. Here's Winchester's Pinnacle. All right, that's a pyramid. Britomart, who now it's a different character. She kind of seeded it over. That's Walt's character. That was a standard square keep. And then Cerastus has a round tower. So those are the 4 main towers that were placed up.
Cerastus has a round wall,
right,
so that the Cavaliers can actually reach charging speed before you open the gate, so they can come out at full tilt.
Right. And this is when the Cavalier class was big, and Cavaliers get all these followers, and they're like, "Oh, cool! Yeah, top tier map designs. Isn't that great?" This has existed for 25, 30 years, but it's going to change soon. I promise, it's going to change soon. But from this right now, this is what John has to work with as things come out before we get published.
So, Jay, this optimistic thought I had this week of asking you to send me some of your Altamira documentation, you're just disabusing me that there's going to be much to say.
Well, everything's... So here's Mr. Notebook with all the locations and all the writings, and everything is here. And from that, I am working on transposing that and getting it into a format that we're going to have an assigned, as soon as Stephen comes back from Great Britain, he goes on vacation, we're going to have an assigned editor to me, and then boom, and then we're going to really get cranking on this. But we are cranking on this because Anna, I got Altamira 1, 2, and 3. And if you didn't see the Fantasy Mapping Show, this is what Anna has been doing. So, Anna, why don't you take it away from here, just to go over.
Well, that's the what we're looking at is the 3D full resolution 3D render, but it's not textured yet. So we only see the elevation shadowed, and the colors come from what type of texture that will be. So the dark, and then it's only a kind of a raw splat map, what I would call. So you have the gray areas will be rocky, and then you have the light green that will be like short grass and stuff, and then you have slightly darker green that will be like long tufty grass and bushes and stuff, and then you have the really dark green is forest. And I will have to manually go in and edit these maps before done, so to speak, and then they will be used to generate place the textures and stuff that being generated.
Here's a different view
of
the area. So this area is where the city's going.
I still think it's better than Jay's map.
I wanted I wanted to say so much when Anna's like, well, it doesn't have all the texturing. I was gonna be like, oh, come on, Anna.
And then this is a real good one. This is the above view from space.
Yeah, I colored the area for the city so we can say it's a mile across. So it's
And this is the jewel.
1100
This is the
something
jewel right here,
5
right?
foot squares. Yeah, it's a little over 1100 5-foot squares across.
Yeah, is that Mount Nothing in the background? That's part of the Lort Mills. This is all part of the Lort Mill mountain chain.
Mhm.
So so
It's a little outlier from the Lort Mill, so to speak, because
Yeah,
there's
see-
a valley west of it and a
Yeah.
valley east of it.
see
that you
this valley
there.
here? See this?
Yeah, that's
it.
the
That's where it's gonna the outlier here, and you have
Yep.
the Jewel River running right here, so you get an idea of where everything's gonna go here. And so, and we're gonna show you some cool things ahead of time here. Note to the east is the Sus. All right, to the north is Selene. Just note that, because then we're gonna show something in a second. All right, now John, who's starting his campaign, is going to. I think I can just shut these off.
Fontanook and the Twilight Woods.
Yes,
Mhm.
exactly. So here's the map of all of Aird. Thank you from our favorite friend Stephen Chenault and Chuck and Troll Lord. By the way, everyone, that giveaway is going strong. Please feel free to sign up. One hardback Codex of Air book and at least 3 digital copies. So this area here that we decided on that Stephen helped us with is right here. Okay, right at this where this Unkwood River starts. So we're gonna have a little bit of a river coming down, and we're gonna have Anna's gonna, in her map, it's gonna be transposable, whatever.
But it maps really well with the hills and the mountains to which you have in Greyhawk, and then instead of the Sus, you've got the Twilight. It's a good spot.
The Twilight Wood is the Sus.
Yep.
Flip around Selene, Fontenot. I think the Q is silent. I'm not sure. Fontenot Fontenoc is the land of the Elven estates. It fits perfectly. We just flip over to Selenian estates, and we're going to place them all here too. So we're good. We're good with the area. We're good with it's going to be the Order of Altamira, not the Order of Ulix, some minor changes. And that is Militant. I love it. Militant is good there, Robert. And Robert, you know a lot about this area too. So hopefully everyone's going to have fun with playing. And hi, Amy.
Yeah, that's my
Tim's
sister. That's my
Amy.
sister.
Amy, I just showed
Hello.
Amy, I just showed it last week
The picture of us at the Renaissance.
at the Renaissance Fair. It's
Yeah.
good to see you. You're
She's
live.
She's come down to the nerdery to see what's going on.
Awesome. Yeah.
That's cool.
Say the map is super impressive.
Yeah, well, there's some wonderful wonderful things here. So give 1 second, since Amy is on. Let me see if
Look for the photo.
what is it called? Adventures Dirty Deeds, right? So it's under
Yeah.
Dirty Deeds. It's under there you go, Amy.
Where? Oh,
That's it. Yeah, there's Amy right there. That's Amy, then Tim, then Walt, then myself. I showed it last time too. Yeah.
that's right.
There you go. The Renaissance Fair.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Good
There
to,
you go.
it's,
That's
it's
some
good to
good
see you.
times, though. Yeah, good to see you, Jay.
And I got John and Anna on as well with your
Yep.
brother. So
Mhm.
Yes, John and Anna are on.
Hello.
hang
Hello.
out. You want to see an anime played back in the day? How much of nerds we've come in 40
Yeah,
years. Super.
Yeah, but it actually looks like geographic information systems, the maps and everything.
The one that Anna, not this one. The other
Yeah.
one.
Well, here, let me. You could say that. Yeah. Look at this.
Oh yeah,
I
that's a
mean,
good
yeah,
map. Yeah.
Yeah, just showing where the city's going to go. So,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
So where the crown is
Yeah.
where the city's going to be.
Yeah, where
Yep.
this is
Mhm.
all. Yeah, the city of
I
the
just
walls is going
measured
to be
it up
placed
so I
here.
can
Yep.
know how big it will be.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, hey, Taryn, waves at
Oh, yeah.
Mrs. Tim. That's Sister Tim, Taryn. That's not Mrs.
Yeah,
Tim.
that's my sister.
That's Sister Tim. That's
Annoying
Amy. Amy played for a long time and dressed up and had fun with us.
Yeah, we had some fun times. I thought, Jay, didn't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Most of her characters didn't make it past second level because she would always want to go shopping.
That has not changed in reality as well.
Well, that's so.
But that should be one of the least dangerous things to do in a role-playing game. Go shopping. So-
yeah.
That's. I always liked negotiating with
Mhm.
them.
Barter. Bartering. I'll throw up the big picture here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, of course, Mike, you're welcome for the shout outs. We got Twitch running too, Amy. That's what I'm talking to the Twitch community. So, John, have you made any like decisions about like what the main focus of your campaign is going to be as far as you got the Twilight Woods? I mean, I know you're starting in Altamira, but what? Tell me a little bit about what because you're homebrewing. You're basically homebrewing aired now. You're taking
Yeah, no, that's right, Jane. And you kind of mentioned that it's. I like doing that. I like using published content and then homebrewing from that, so that I have the published content as a base to work from, where I want ideas that I can bring in, if I want to get some sources of inspiration, but then, not feel constrained to actually run a published module per se. So I like that blend of structure and freedom. In my games too, I do have broader concepts, but I play a lot of open style and free setting. So the backstories of the 4 characters who will be starting on Sunday, all of whom will be beginning as sort of preteen, like 11, 12 years old. We won't run contiguously.
Wow.
We won't run contiguously that chronology. It's almost like a prelude. So we'll have a handful of sessions. I don't know how many it'll be. It might be 6 sessions. It might be 8 sessions. It might be 10 sessions where they will play this younger age. And then there will be a time separation, and we'll come back to them as they are now young adults. So it's going to be kind of a two-stage process. And I have some loose concepts. Then I have some very specific. They'll be in the city of Altamira proper, but some of their backstories include one of them is actually from the Twilight Woods and has come into the city. Another works with a shopkeeper inside the city. Another was the child of a noble family that has fallen on disfavor. Some really neat structured stories for the Free City. I see them adventuring in Altamira proper for probably the first 4 or 5 sessions at least. And then some of the storylines could pull them either into the Twilight Woods or down south into the Fontainebleau. And then when they come back together, years later, that's when the full story arc will open up. So I can't say too much right now, but yeah, definitely they'll be playing in the streets of Altamira for the first several weeks.
Yeah, because the number one complaint I've always gotten from Bill and Alan and notice is we can't afford anything. This city's too damn expensive. Well, too bad. That's how which has side effects. So a question from Bent Metal is, are you using the CNC saving throws siege engine system?
Are you? Is that a question for me?
Yeah.
So no, I'm playing, even though I'm playing in the world of Aird, I'm not using CNC. I am still playing D&D. My core 3.5 rule set with some of the 1E elements in it that I like. I really love, we talked about the Cavalier, the Barbarian Unearthed Arcana version, certain spell effects, custom critical effects. So it'll all be the normal blue box style of game. But to the degree that there are mechanisms that are available in CNC, like a siege system, for example, that I can bolt on, I might well do that. But it will be a core D&D game in the world of Aird.
So you're going to use the good crits.
The Tim crits. They're mysterious.
I have 3 sets of crits. I still have my old Middle Earth crits that I use for fumbles because your fumbles are weak sauce.
Those are
I have your crit tables, which are my foundational crit table, and have already been responsible for many glorious deaths, both on behalf of and against the PCs. And then Steve Bloodwild has a really cool set of crit tables, which go into spell crits and different types of energy crits and go beyond just the base crit tables. So yes, but Tim, without question, your crit tables are the notorious crit tables.
I feel good now.
Tim, can Amy see the Twitch chat?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I just put up Tim's head is an emote, by the way.
My head is an emote. Yeah.
Yes, Lord,
Really?
Tim loves a good critical is the emote. Yes.
Oh, wow. Put one up.
Because yes, so just
Oh my god. Is that everyone's face?
That's
That's
Tim's face. Yes, there's Tim.
But it means that when you hit it,
When you
it's,
critical hit, yes. Mine is
everyone-
fumble wah. That's my head.
Tim
So
loves a good critical.
Oh,
yeah, that's it. So I've had those emotes. Those emotes vaulted the channel to its greatness, right? So,
right.
I do love a good crit.
so that hopefully
Who
that
doesn't?
answers your question. So Nat says you all both should look at the Dungeon Crawl Classics crit tables if you haven't already. I haven't seen them.
So a crit table.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Critical hit tables. Yeah, we've been
Oh,
using
okay.
them for like 35 years, Amy. It's been great. CNC's closer to ADD3
Because it
than
played since second grade.
3X is.
Yeah,
So
been a while.
wow, that's an interesting observation, Rob.
Cool.
Phantom, very, very interesting.
Oh, nice.
So I'm excited for this because, and I'm gonna go back to the screen, because this is actually going to help me. And Anna knows I work better on deadlines. So I got a lot going on, putting a lot into Castles and Crusades. It's taken me forever to convert my bounty hunter over to Castles and
So when
Crusades
you
rule
do a
system.
crit,
It's tough
roll.
because I don't know the rule system at all,
you
John.
level
So
the
I'm
Yeah.
working on doing that stuff,
leg,
and
right,
I should
primary
just
arm,
worry
secondary
about
arm,
getting stuff written
body
and let.
or head.
But I don't want to give them
and
slop,
then
right, Anna? You know what I'm saying?
You have to start running the damn thing in CNC now, so
Oh.
you can.
Leg,
Yeah.
I don't know if I
and
could.
use
I
the
could go away
levels.
from 1E2E. I don't know.
Well, be writing for a game system. That means that you need to run it. Yep.
Oh my
mhm.
gosh,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You're specific.
John's not running it. John's
No,
not
and,
running it.
and they did, and honestly, they did ask me about that, and it's a good system. Robert ran CNC today. It's a fun system. It really
Yep.
is very much like some of the old school 1E stuff.
Mhm.
It's very lightweight in some areas on the rule set, which makes it extremely facile for someone that's picking it up and maybe hasn't played before.
Right.
I do enjoy, and I know some of my players enjoy, the ridiculous crunchiness of 3.5 or Pathfinder, and the bazillion different class customizations and all of the variations of spells and whatnot. So it's just really a gaming style preference. But yeah, CNC is a great system.
So, Rob, I appreciate that, but my thought on this is that I am spending enough time getting the actual content in, and if I got to do the rules as well, I'm not going to get this done till 2024, and I don't want to wait that long. So, at some point, I'm putting, like, the bounty hunter class is definitely, they don't have a bounty hunter. That class is going in to
Yeah.
Castles and Crusades rule system. That's a
But
definite.
that's a good thing. You can outsource certain parts. Meaning you outsource the
Yeah.
maps to me, so you can outsource the rules to
Yeah.
someone else. So, yeah.
Well, I'm not outsourcing it
Rules
to you.
fit.
You're a partner here, and it's
Okay,
not really
well,
that-
let's get-
you're doing the
Thank
tough
you.
part with that. So,
No, I'm
yeah.
not so sure. But we'll see. Mhm.
So, all right, John, do you know the races of your characters yet?
Yeah, we have an elf. We have 2 humans. And hold on, let me pull up my 4th one. I'm forgetting. And yeah, the elf is, there are 6 varieties of elf.
Yeah, because the age thing is a problem if they're kids. That doesn't work with the elf.
Yeah, it'll be effective ages. So, I would definitely do the,
Okay.
and depending on the time span that has to be, I think it's actually a half elf that I have in there as well.
Half
But
elf,
yeah,
you can make that work.
yeah, but
You make that
that's
work.
that's a good point.
Yeah. So Rob Phantom says hi, Tim, and Mike Disney says hello to you and your sister. There you go. So it's good to see everyone. Yeah, because I love
I
that
got the chat on my phone.
we've never done it. We've never done it that way ever, John, which sounds really cool as far as a way to really homebrew something. We've had kids of characters in the background, knowing that in 5 to 10 years of game time, we're going to be playing those characters, right? We've had,
Right.
because we're like our 3rd generation of characters having children and stuff, especially in the humans, but not, so hey, Red Monk.
Yeah,
It reminds me.
Sorry, go
It
ahead.
reminds me of a video game, like Fallout, where you actually make choices as
Right.
a young before you actually launch.
You're spot on, Tim. That's
It's a
kind
great
of the
idea.
So I've never seen it done. I've never done it in an off-stream game, and I've certainly not seen it on Twitch. I'm not saying it hasn't been done. But for me, it comes from this idea that everybody loves an origin story. And, when you have this sort of early age, and you know, these young kids, and they're getting exposed to one another, and the odds are against them, and it's sort of this idea of an origin story. But I felt like if you stayed there, then it becomes almost like a novelty, right? And I don't want them to stay 11, 12, 13 years old while I'm streaming this live on Twitch for the next 10 years. So
No, I agreed.
So that sort of
Agreed.
prelude piece, you get to know these characters, so they already have a little bit of a backstory, but of course their backstory will also become, to Tim's point, the choices that they make and the things that they encounter during this initial section, and then hopefully that creates a bigger sense of depth and connection when we come back and find them as young adults.
Yeah, I think with four characters, it's manageable too.
Yeah,
I like that. I really do. So, Anna,
Yeah.
that almost, now it's a little different than their 0 level 6 to 8 adventures. A little different, but it's kind of a similar background.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So, elaborate.
Well, I'm going to run when I run my next campaign will probably be an Elven campaign. So interesting. The Elven kind of I want to separate it. And I might have half elves, and I might introduce humans later on in that campaign. But I want to keep kind of, if we start from scratch, I would like to have like Elven kids that will be like 80 or 100 years old or something like that. And then
Just got a diapers.
Yeah. Exactly. They will know a lot of things, but they will still not have tasted the real world, so to speak. They've been meaning they lived for a century in their own culture, in their own safe haven, so to speak. And then they will be kind of brought up and say, okay, now you need to face reality and the harsh world out there, and you need to learn, but they need to be grounded. So we probably have to have 2 or 3 kind of boring sessions where you just go around waiting, and so I get the players to be so eager to go out and taste dangers that they want to really dip their toes in, so to speak. And that will be things that will be really important but not dangerous, so to speak. And
Makes
more
sense.
like I'm thinking about doing it more like challenges that will be more like sports. So you will do mock fights, you will do a whole bunch of stuff. There's no chance of dying, but there will be a prize for getting first, and you will still get XP for doing it, so to speak. So there is a chance.
Cool.
So they will fight over XP or something like that. I'm thinking about that, meaning first place, meaning you get more XP than coming last.
Thanks,
So it's kind of getting life experience, but there's no chance of dying. And then then reach like first level or second level and something like that. Or you get like extra bonus things that you have more XP to spend on stuff. Remember, I'm going to do classless in that campaign, which means that they need to earn XP in order to learn cool stuff. So it was something like that. And I want to isolate a bit from the human realm, because this was the first time in years that I will play non-human characters in my campaign. So I want to make it realist. Partially Celine. I think that the actual action will be in Celine, but I want to start them somewhere else.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay.
That's my idea, so to speak. So Celine will be the battleground that we'll go to and fight someone. I'm not going to spill the beans too much, but it will be I think one of the theme will be they want to join the Knights of Luna or something similar organization, and then they have to basically show up and do boot camp, and they have to see if they're good enough, and then send on a training mission, and then once the training mission is done, the wheel comes off and they have to go on the first real one, so to speak, and then they will be support units, so to speak. They will carry equipment, they will guard, they will do stuff like that in the rear guard, and see danger up close, but not really be in the front lines. And then at the end of the campaign, where they're probably about 6th, 7th level, then they have to go out and do a raid themselves, so to speak. And then it will be real danger, and it will be nasty as hell, so to speak. And they really have to earn their wings doing it. So that will be somewhat. It will be in a way, it will be a weird Elven style military campaign. That's what I'm expecting to do. Yep.
Something different. So so John, note all these estates here in Celine will be flipping over, and I will place them here.
Yeah.
In this area. We will be pasting them in the Fontenoke. All of them. So, and then that because a lot of the characters that are in the Altamira city are relations to there. So probably your elf or half elf will probably be, you want to make them from one of the estate homes, and we can discuss that. So, and that'll make total sense for you. All right, here's my question for all three of you. And this regards to a Greyhawk. A Greyhawk question. Give me something major and minor. Okay, I know. Whoops, that you may. This may be a tough one. Major and minor that you've homebrewed in your Greyhawk campaign. I'll give you my major. Mickey, the Order of Ulick. That's as major as it gets. It's changed the entire game and our campaign and diverged right in 1980, right at the beginning of Greyhawk published sources, which we had another 30 years. No, go up to 2008, which is, so we had another 28 years of published source reference material, and I diverged right from it right off the bat. Secondly, minor, I'll say custom classes. We've made classes that don't exist in Greyhawk anywhere else. There, that was easy.
Okay, so this was hard for me because on the major, Jay, I've shared some things with you that no one else knows, and it has to do with some of the overarching connections in Greyhawk Awakening between the three books. And there's really not much I can say that would not start to give things away, except I will say it could not be any more significant in terms of how it connects the books of the stories that I'm telling, in addition to the lore of Greyhawk and some of its principal villains and influences on those principal villains that have not been explored anywhere in Greyhawk canon, but tie so nicely together when you do the research, and it just fits very nicely. So I'm super excited about that overarching story that will be told. Minor stuff, villains like the Pale Lords. Those guys have been a fantastic villain based on the Myrdal from Robert Jordan's world, but customized and custom artwork. NPCs like Yaj Tox, which now live on in infamy. Everyone's favorite NPC on my system. Oh, also extensions of the Dark Brotherhood, and this is an example of riffing off of what you have done with Holly. And of course, we introduced Halia. She became a central villain in that initial arc. And then you also had the Red Lords, which are this strange extension, somehow connected or affiliated with the Dark Brotherhood. So all these neat little kind of woven pieces, I think, are the minor points that I've introduced.
Awesome. Tim, Anna?
Tim, you go first. Yep.
Okay, I have several depending on what decade we're talking about.
Whatever.
So,
whichever one you want to bring up.
early on, the homebrewed the Far East
Knights of the
Elves
Eastern
of Imperium, the
Yeah,
Knights of the Eastern Sun, from the farthest eastern reaches of the Great Kingdom, lawful evil elves. With the mongrels.
Yes, the mongrels of the putrid tongue.
Mongrels of the putrid tongue. More recently, I think the cultural changes I've homebrewed for the Rovers.
Oh, absolutely.
In college, I ran a Bandit Kingdom campaign, which is had a lot of homebrew in it, and then I've done a couple classes that I've worked on it. So
the only time I've ever played on the eastern side of the map was when Tim DM'd Knights of the Eastern Sun stuff, and that was mostly an ID right here.
That was when I killed everybody in one round.
And now we know why Jay never wants to go on that side of the map again. So yeah,
I traumatized him.
Yeah, Kazumba survived. It was Kazumba. That's it.
Yeah, it was a phantasmal force, and everyone thought that as a DM,
heads.
I would actually make 3 dragons attack them all at the same time, and none of them disbelieved it. So only
then you carried on. Yep.
Yeah.
Only the people with the best senses saved.
Speaking of mongrels of the putrid tongue,
let's do it.
I hit a wrong button.
Uh-oh. I think it was on purpose this time.
Enough of this shit. Give me the tongue.
You can't hear it. You can't hear it because we're watching on this.
So Sammy couldn't hear her niece as you cut her tongue out.
I'll play it for her later.
Yes, from the mind of the nutty Tim. So there you go.
That's a very, very played down version.
Hey,
Or
Patrick.
you have a kind of a real editor's cut on it?
No. That was what we were going for in the video.
Okay,
It was not as gruesome as it should have been.
Yeah.
So, Anna, how about an answer for you on that?
Yeah, I'm going to take 3 examples. One major, one I think it's in the middle, and one minor. The major one is that I've changed how elves work in the world of
That's
Greyhawk.
true.
So I changed how Grey, High, Sylvan, and Grugotch and stuff, how they work, so to speak. So I'm going to detail it, and I talked a little bit about it in the previous show. So that I think is the major one, that Grey elves are not something you're born into, that's something you grow into becoming when you're old. Just like we get gray when we get old, but it's a bit more drastic than that. But it's so that is something that I've changed that I think has a more profound effect of elvendom. I've really tweaked elvendom quite a bit from the kind of obscure little not so special way that elves are portrayed in the original published sources. So I've kind of gone out on a limb when it comes to the elves. So that I think is one of the biggest changes. And then a mid-level one is that I've changed the back history of Ayus. I haven't changed anything that actually happens in the setting, but I've tweaked why it happens. I got a different plan for Igvulv and Grust. I changed their story in why they did it. All the facts are kind of still there, but the motivation is different. So Ayus was perceived by Grust to be a hero of the Flan. That was the original plan when they created him, so to speak, as a champion. So he was born and raised to be a hero of the Flan, and he was really good to begin with, and then he kind of went off the script and so on. So whatever happened in the published sources still happens in My Greyhawk, but the reason it happened is different. So that is, I would say, that is a mid-level, because it changed how you have to react to it, but it doesn't change much, so to speak. And a minor one that I think still is significant, but minor, is that I've changed the Salintan, the upper part of Salintan, to be a canal. Meaning it doesn't change anything more than flavor, really, but it also explains things and add a bit of depth and kind of clarity to the story, why it happens. But it doesn't change anything in the adventuring. And then I've changed the rule system, but I think that was a little bit beside the point, because the rules mechanics is something else that I think almost every DM tweaks with. But these are more story things that I've changed in my world.
Great answers, everyone.
Yeah.
All right, let's put John on the spot now. Give me something you want from the city, John, for this campaign.
Oh, cool.
Because you're going to be starting there.
Yeah, you go
What
first.
do you want?
Well,
what
I want, I've already kind of mentioned this to you a little bit, Jay. I want to know more about the city's underbelly. I know that Altamira is viewed as this shining city on a hill, but it's a city, and wherever large groups of people congregate, there will be beggars, there will be thieves, there will be, things happening at night beneath the city streets.
Oh, boy.
I want the grunge.
John, it's dirty. It's dirty down there. It is dirty under the city. Jay made it terrible.
So
he knows because he has had characters down there. I'm sure. Yeah.
Let's just go for it. I'm going to tell a story.
It's not my characters.
Okay.
All right. So this is going to sound really, really, what's proletariat, I guess. What's the one where, this is going to sound too, this is the handwritten map. You have your low quarter / squatters camps here.
Everybody has them.
In the entrance leading in, you have your, the Ritchie Estates here, Merchant Way runs, and this is about the roads on there, Temple Road, the Government Estates, the Dwarven Quarter, which is up here because there's a lot of dwarves here. They're in relation with the miners and the Lord Mills and the residential
They
north
only
side.
live in stone buildings. Buildings.
Yes. So in the squatters' camps, for the last couple decades, we'll say, and it's true, everyone is afraid of the boogeyman of Altamira, who takes away entire families in the middle of the night.
It's just a story.
It's just a story, and no one knows why this happens. In fact, I've actually one of the characters in Horror in the Holes, Fionn. His entire family disappeared. She always slept under her bed. Now, I'm going to put this out, and I don't want to make a relation to real life, But a couple people in the Jim Jones massacre survived hiding under their beds, by the way. Okay, just note that. Yeah, all right. Just just note that. So, so she, as a child, woke up one morning. Her entire family was gone, and the Order of Ulick took her in as an orphan and raised her. So the boogeyman of Altamira takes people away for what purpose we don't know. There you go. That's a big yes. And
people thought my mongrels were bad.
I like it.
yes,
I like it.
But the boogeyman only tends to take people away from the squatter camps. Not from no wealthy people, no Knights of Ulick ever disappear.
Low quarter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a low quarter. Now,
no one knows their names, where they're from. There's no records. There's no major businesses, so they disappear and they're not as noticed. That's why,
right.
I would guess, if I was to investigate.
Yes. So, and this is real in the course of gameplay, and involves a major one of my friends' PCs. All right, and I've said it on some other shows, but yes, this is actually happened in the course of gameplay. What is going on here? So this isn't just made up out of the blue. This has happened over the last 25 to 30 years. So yes, you played Fionn Curtis in Horror in the Hools. Thank you. She's a specialty priestess of Tritharion now. She's currently in the group Iron Fury and Greyhawk. She's actually working out of the free city of Greyhawk. Yep, and she grew up in Altamira as an orphan. So that's number one. Number two, from these squatters' camps. These really charismatic individuals have been coming in preaching that Altamira doesn't care about you, but we do. And these people have been following these preachers into the Twilight Wood. We're going to talk Air now, and to the Sus, claiming to be followers of the sun.
And what happens when they follow these preachers? Are they seen again?
No.
Shocking.
No, they're not either. And we've done a ton. And Mike Disney's been in on these adventures, and these awful looking beast men show up instead. All right. So, and this is going to be one of the. We're going to have a whole bunch of new creatures and monsters in this campaign setting. What's that?
No coincidence, of course, that these beast men show up after all these people disappeared.
Yes. And here are your sorry about the there. These beast men, of course, painted by Buildmaster Crafter, show up. So yeah, don't know why, but the beast men are everywhere, and yes, and so this group is getting more and more in power in the Twilight Wood. So the sun. I've shown a statue of the sun, and Mike, you were on the adventure where in an underground cavern they found this statue of what the sun looks like. Do you want to see what it said? Yeah, they do look amazing. Here's what the sun looks like.
Oh no, we're not saying SUN, are we?
No.
By the way, those guys look a lot like the Trollocs from Wheel of Time.
Oh, do they?
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't
Beast
steal.
men from Warhammer.
Here we go. Oh, that's the sun.
Ew.
Is he the son of Set?
No.
I like
Would
that.
you be so lucky?
That is a great mini.
Maybe. So we already have permission, because Orcus is a general term, to utilize this in the Free City of Altamira box set. So we've already cleared that with Stephen at Troll Lord. Even though that's that's Necromancer game symbol, it doesn't matter. It's a general. So yes. So there's the sun. So that is there's a cult, a major cult forming. Yes. Well, they don't know that.
They don't know.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. Of course. We don't know where these beastmen come from. Some of them have shreds of clothing, though. A couple of them even have like militia guard armor. Yeah. So just another.
Yeah,
yes.
I love that. That's a great storyline.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And it's been going on in our course of gameplay. Ed Greenwood's group has come across them. The Slav Squad has come across them. The new recruits, Mike Disney's character Skarn, they've all come across these beastmen in adventures. So it's been going on in my campaign. Anna's characters have come across the beastmen. They tend to have magic resistance too sometimes.
It sounds like the leadership of Altamira is lacking. And doesn't care about their population. That's what it sounds like, Jay.
It also could sound like I'm trying to develop some campaign plot arcs here, but Tim always has to worry about the organizational aspect of everything. Yes, so
Sounds like there's another plot line. There's people kind of protesting that why these people are disappearing, and people are saying
Right.
nobody's disappearing.
right.
And you have all that tumult going on. Who's right? There's a lot of ambiguity there.
I'm not making a political statement or anything here, which picking on the oppressed. Okay, it just works that way in the fantasy setting. Please note
It's a
that.
soft target. It's a soft target.
Yeah. So, and would you, God, how do I say this without sounding callous? If you're running a city that's really a military installation for the most part, it's grown into a city, and you don't have to worry about the downtrodden right at the current time, then you're really not that upset. I know that sounds awful. I'm just looking at it from a practical standpoint of there's many other things going on. Next. Isn't this fun, John?
Your practicality is frightening, Jay.
I have to worry about that. John, here's another thing.
It's like a self-cleaning.
There's a thieves. This is even funnier. There's a thieves guild in town. Of course, there's a thieves guild in every town. This thieves guild does not allow gnomes, halflings, or dwarves to join unless they pay
Why, Jay?
an exorbitant
Those are-
fee.
Oh, okay.
Unless they pay an exorbitant fee.
Oh.
And then they're watched, and there's never been a halfling allowed, period.
It's not my fault.
Okay, see, look at all the great stuff you're going to get in this box set. All these great stories. You want to hear this real story arc, John?
Yes.
Okay. Back in the day, we're going to go somewhere.
Oh yeah.
We're going to go to Highport. Now, first off, there's Lord Page's estate, which Tim's character Skeeve still twinges to this day. And
I don't like him, but I am married to his wife, so
ex-wife. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
You're married to his ex-wife.
That's
Also, do you remember the adventure where the two characters were on the beach in Harby, and he had the marching band behind him, and the whole marching band got killed?
That I think it rings a bell somewhere.
They were Skeeve's two kids.
Okay.
One
The
named
band was
Hugo
called the Red
Stiglitz. How imaginary is
Stiglitz,
that? Yeah, just like
Hugo Stiglitz.
just right from Inglorious Bastards, and and Crystal Ion, the sister, and then they bolt out. All right, I digress. Highport. Tim's character Skeeve creates a thieves guild here to fight against the slavers and all the oppression going on.
Not just one thieves guild.
Yes.
Three.
There were 3 thieves guilds. Later on, as we were playing one-on-one, Alan and oh my gosh, who had the other?
It was my other character.
Yes,
came in.
Alan and Lou. So Alan's character Sam and Tim's character Leuven formed their own guilds, the 2 halflings.
Well, Sam formed a guild. Leuven was too dumb to.
Yeah, that's true. So you had a second guild. There's multiple guilds in this town, John. Alan's character Sam, who's a 16th, he's the halfling that's always one level lower than Leuven. He's 17th level, and Leuven's
Right.
18th. Okay, forms a guild, and a member named Lord Drarius the Deposed joins. He's a dual class cavalier thief. He lost his cavalier status at 7th level because he became broke, destitute, and was really a vile person and just couldn't keep cavalier. So he decides, I'm going to become a thief now. So he's a dual class cavalier thief. All the time, he was terrible at picking pockets. Whenever he picked someone's pocket when he failed, he would just break their arm and then take the stuff. So he was always getting arrested and stuff. And Sam just didn't like him. A time comes, Sam and Leuven both get assassinated. We won't go into those details. We won't go into the details on who did it at all
Horrific.
because it's not made for TV discussion. Skeeve gets them both raised with lesser wishes. Sam bolts, leaving his thieves guild intact there, not saving them, just left them.
Right. I want to just say, Lord Drarius does not take that abandonment very well.
Yes. So he does not. So what does a chaotic neutral / chaotic stupid character, John, do in this case?
Chaotic, neutral / stupid, something random and violent.
Well, or put his wits together and go, I'm going to get that son of a bitch back one day.
He either walks away or focuses on it entirely.
Yeah, this is like, what year is this, Tim? 1988, 89 we did this? Yeah.
I was in college.
20 years later, the Thieves Guild of Altamira gets formed, and there starts trouble. And word has it that there's this dual-class human who's the guild master, 7th level cavalier, 13th level thief, who's the guild master here now. And he has one thing bent on mind, and that's revenge on Sam. And that's why he cannot trust halflings. He is the guild master in Altamira, the member of Sam's guild that he abandoned all those years ago in Highport.
Maybe Leuven will join his guild.
No halflings. Yes, so he is here bent on revenge, and has started his thing by turning one of another player character's PCs evil, putting a helm of opposite alignment on him. One of his close friends.
So, Tim, I'm having a hard time understanding how you are disavowing all responsibility.
Well, I'll just say this. Leuven has 7 intelligence.
Yes.
So he's not starting a Thieves Guild. He basically doesn't ever want to have to pay for drinks. So he basically is really good at making sure he doesn't have to take care of that. He's very sneaky, more like, the Bilbo Baggins burglar, sneak up ahead.
He's a hysterical
type.
player.
He's a nice guy.
Anna played with him. First time she ever played.
He's afraid of vampires for a very specific reason.
Oh, that was great too. Yeah, I remember that.
And yeah, he didn't really start the Thieves Guild. He was hanging out with his buddy Sam, who was starting it, and he thought it was neat. They'd smoke pipe weed together. They both got assassinated, and things were cut off of them in a very mean-spirited way. And he decided that was not for him, so he went back and kind of in a semi-retirement.
Yeah, but Sam
Not
just
his fault.
abandoned his thieves that he was the guild master of, and that was not. Yeah, so
yeah, Leuven could never do that. Leuven would have a conscience problem.
Yeah.
Because he's on the good spectrums. He would be racked with guilt forever. He could never abandon people.
But there is a light at the end of the tunnel here. There has, with that, another rival guild has shown up in town. Okay, and and let me see if I can. Led by
the legendary.
this is from Dragon 60.
I was just going to say I've seen that in Dragon.
Yes.
Yep.
Led by the legendary Yuban Had.
You've been
had.
Even he remember Yuban Had. And this, so I have to change his name because it's in Dragon, and also the name of his guild, which is Spunk, Short People's Union for Nefarious Kleptomaniacs. Spunk has come to Altamira to fight Lord Darius's guild. However they can, the short people are never, So the Spunk is here now, and that is the guild that the halflings and any other people can join. So there's a guild war about to start in Altamira between Lord Darius the Deposed and the adventurers and guilds.
That's
of
bad for business,
Spunk.
Jay.
I know, but I'm creating scenarios here.
I love it.
I hope
it's
it doesn't
a lot of fun.
impact the grand joust. I hope it doesn't impact that.
And as I mentioned to Jay, at least I don't know that this will make it into Altamira canon, but in my version of Altamira, I was so enamored of the saga of the old city and the battle of the various guilds, and in particular the struggle between the Thieves Guild and the Beggars Guild, and how that line occasionally gets crossed. So there will be another guild in Altamira known as the Gogs, and it is the Gentle Order, or the Guild of Gentle Supplication, and these will be the Beggars, the Guild of Gentle Supplication, or Gogs, and they will also be a factor.
I like it, man.
John, it's sorry.
Go, Anna, go.
I love that, John, that you homebrewing a setting that is not even published yet. Meaning you're already tweaking it. That is so cool. You didn't even have come out yet. So that means that
Yeah,
you're
me-
now on the ball and you're doing it publicly. So we'll be on Twitch. So then we'll see how much
There you go.
that will influence Jay to actually change the
Well,
You haven't
Yeah.
changed, sir. You haven't changed.
I have no
sir.
write-ups. Yeah, there is poor Tom.
Poor Tom needs some change, sir.
Look at it. I have 2 Thieves Guilds, a Bounty Hunters Guild, which we haven't even discussed. Because the main Bounty Hunters Guild and all of the Western Flannis is here, and a Beggars Guild would be great to work on. More great stuff I can write about.
More
so.
beastmen. I mean,
So John, John can go whatever direction he wants, and I will help him with a lot of the discussion points. I just talked about the negatives. There's a lot of positives here. The minor, there's a ton of positives.
the Cavalier training area. There's 3 different Cavalier training sites, so obviously it's a hot point for jousting.
Yes, 3 different Cavalier sites. The Tower of Alana. So if we want to show this now, this was not made by Bill and Master Crafter, John. This is one of the few items that I got. I got this like 25 years ago. I had this custom built.
Oh,
This is the Tower of Alana, even with the fletchings and all.
Figures.
Yeah. So and that is smack dab in the middle. And this is Marco's character, Swain's tower.
Jay,
he's a worshiper of
as a
Alana.
point of curiosity, has anyone ever fallen to their death from that?
Yes, they have,
Oh, okay.
but they were pushed off.
Jay, how was that made 25 years ago? Clearly, that's not 3D printing. What is
That's
that?
all styrofoam.
Styrofoam?
Yeah, and here it is. Here it is in downtown Altamira, with its fire on top of it. Yeah. So, hey, Holly Monster, awesome. Holly Monster just recently played with Mike and the crew. That was an awesome adventure. Great to see you, Holly.
Yeah, welcome. Welcome.
Really, really appreciate it.
Yep.
Welcome to the
Mike
madness.
Disney's here hanging with us too, and we're all talking about homebrewing, and we're talking about a brand new campaign setting that that John at Blue Box is going to be doing. Really, really great to see you. Could someone? I don't know if my shout out's still here. Could someone, one of the techs, please shout out Holly Monster for me in Twitch, and please give her a follow. She's a great crafter. So this is Altamira. You have so this is all subject to be moved, but just it can only fit so much on an 8x8 table, and so you have this is the downtown area. Here's Hoops. Hoops is a trading post now. It's grown, right?
A
So,
pillar of the community.
A pillar of the community. Thank you so very much. Oh, it is in there. Good. I did have the shout out. Thank you, Rob. I'm glad I had the shout out still. Awesome. And note that with that, John, on the back area here, and that's the downtown area down Merchant Way, into the estates, viewing into the estates area here, you have areas that are developed that you can adventure in, like this, the arena. All right, we have an arena here in Altamira, so it was utilized during the Grand Melee. This is our pinnacle. This is Bill's pinnacle of 3D print creation. And John saw it when he was here. It's just amazing.
It's incredible.
It's Infinite Dimensions Games. It is awesome. And then the other pinnacle is and you'll all see this within a month. You're going to see this within a month. Now, notice they're in the same spot on the map, so I got to figure that out because of the table. And there, in the background, in the upper left, you can see there's Swain's Tower. So this is in the estates. There's the jousting arena that you're going to see with Duncan jousting the Crom. There's another angle of it. All the individuals waiting for the joust, and that'll be Saturday night.
Let me just say, send me your advertisements, but keep them short. I was getting like 5-page length ones.
Keep them to like 4 sentences.
150 words.
Yes.
150
Okay.
words.
And he will. Tim will do advertisements. Please have them Greyhawk. Have them Greyhawk connected, please. And then, but Tim will do them during the Grand Joust. Duncan Joustley will do them.
Duncan Joustley will tell people to go there immediately.
So from this, a lot of this stuff will be developed, and it'll be developed in 3D prints. It's going to be developed in artwork. We got a lot of stuff we got to do. So John, I've given you a lot of stuff for the low lives of it, but there's joining the guilds. joining the Bounty Hunters Guild. And I don't know what classes everyone's done, but you don't have to be a bounty hunter to join that guild.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be something cool. I don't know if you have a dwarf, but a dwarf would be a great connection here too, and for both this and Aired. The mining cooperative, which is S&M Mining Interests Limited, is the name of the main mining corporation. So that mining corporation deals here and works, and we're going to put this, Anna, we're going to put Hearthguard Tower in an Aired somewhere too, because that's the main connection. That's Sean and Neil's Keep. We're going to put that connection in there. That's a definite that goes into the
Everyone knows
crossover.
the finest estates were built by dwarven craftsmen, of course.
Absolutely.
Well, and in Aired, dwarves hold a very special place in the racial castes. They were the first race created by the gods, and there is special attention given to dwarves in the world of Aired.
Yeah, a great question from Scarshek. Is there a Mages Guild? The answer is yes. The Altamira Guild of Magic Users is here. It's actually in one of the estates. I can't. It's not mine.
Make sure
to
you
own.
get a license. Don't practice magic without a license,
Yes, don't
or
practice.
you'll be jailed.
Absolutely.
You'll be fined heavily.
Well, so there's that connection. Ed Greenwood's character, Anna's character, anyone who's a mage. And trains here, of course, is a member. But they don't allow necromancers. They don't allow necromancers.
Don't allow necromancers.
Yeah. John, you had a question?
Well, no, I'm just so obviously for VGHC, Duncan Joustley, it's all Greyhawk, but does all that exist in Altamira and Aired as well?
Absolutely.
Does Duncan Joustley exist in Aired?
Yes.
Of course he does.
Absolutely.
So then would it run afoul if I were to have an advertisement that's an Altamira advertisement, but maybe it's referencing something that's in Aired?
No, it'll be fine.
Okay.
It'd be perfectly fine. Here's the thing, and since this is so old, and here's the point I want to make for everyone in the homebrewing deal. I'm honored that I'm able to do this with Troller Games, and it was since 1987 we've been playing this, but there is very, very little published source information that exists in this city. And that was intentional. Now, I love Spunk, right? I love You've Been Had, and that comes from a Roger Moore article, right? From Dragon 60. I have to change that. But I have to change the Order of Ulick name to the Order of Altamira. Okay, but Anna, there's not that much that we need to change, right? And that's the great thing.
And map-wise, we don't need to change anything because it's so detailed that meaning we all within half of a Darlene hex. So we're working on a level that never been anything published before.
Yeah, necromancers just are bad. And what's the problem? And I can go into detail on that another time. We can have another discussion. But note, so this picture transposes both settings. It's set that way. It transposes.
Do we need to turn it upside down in one of the versions, or
I think it's perfect this way because remember, Unkwood comes down and around, and the Wardmills do the same thing. I think it's perfect.
It works perfectly.
The one thing that has to flip is the Elven estates from Selene to Fontenot. They're the only two things. Necromancers just clerics who are protected.
If you're really crazy, you could have a portal if you run an Aired campaign, you could have a portal in the city that opens up and then transports the Greyhawk, and then it would be like the city, transcends dimensional boundaries.
Right. There's a lot of
now
stuff.
You give Jay ideas.
Yeah. Well, we may have. All right. Gosh. All right. I am working on this. I'm working on I'm working on that thing with our friend Todd Stashwick, the actor. Okay. Once we get to a point and we get to a Kickstarter point, Todd has kind of said, I can put his bar that's planar,
easy,
Mystic Libations book into Altamira. Okay. All right. I'm working on that. Yes. But the one step at a time we're going to take here. So please note Todd's been great. We chat a lot. He's a wonderful person. He's very busy because he's an actor, right? So yes, but
Acting.
Yes, I did not. That wasn't a feeder. Tim knew nothing. Didn't even. Yeah. So John, questions, please. ideas that you want to throw to me, Anna. Ideas, Tim. Ideas. Talking about the homebrew setting here. What else can for your campaign? Because we want your campaign to be fantastic. I'm super excited about this. I love the story about the younger characters. And you got plenty of room.
I want to throw out something about people starting the homebrew, and you don't feel like you've got to solve every question
Great
at
point.
the very moment you're starting. Before you start, if you want to add a guild later, hey, a lot of adventures are rubes, and so they're not going to know every single guild that's in the administration of an entire city.
You're right.
So you can add on to stuff later when they bump into it and they're like, oh shoot, I didn't even know that. So you can always add on to it later after
Great point.
After you start.
And a good thing. Don't think that all these places came overnight. This is a compilation of 30 years, right? Of stories and all.
Right. And
John.
Places close, get bought out by new management, open up with a different name.
No, absolutely. And I think that's got to be the way you approach it as a DM. If you think you have to have everything figured out in advance, not only is that incredibly cumbersome and you're going to be spending more time researching and planning than you are playing, and that's not fun, but two, your characters will wind up feeling like they're in something that's scripted. And so you have to be able to move with the game. I find for me, a homebrew is enough context in the setting so that I have that foundation. I think Anna said earlier, know the rules so that you can break them. Sort of that musical philosophy that if you really understand an instrument, you know how to play it, but then you know how to riff and move off of the structure. That's what makes it work. The same thing is true of language. If I choose to have fun with the language and employ certain vernacular, even if it's colorful, that's fine. As long as I understand the basic rules of the language, I can do that. That to me is the same idea behind a homebrew. Understand kind of what's going on in the game system, have some general sense of where you think the story should go, and then add and stick and move with your players as you guys tell the story together. So yeah, I think this has been fantastic tonight, and I like the idea of getting some of the additional context on the NPCs that have been played there through the years. Local drinking establishments, the bounty hunters. That sounds fantastic. I'm a huge fan of Cavaliers, as I've already said tonight, in that old school system. So I think understanding more about that, even though it won't be probably any of these PCs, I am going to be using. So I had Anna on for Lore Masters Arcanum a few weeks ago, and we talked a lot about level 0 and running level 0 games and kind of compared notes on thoughts. And initially when she mentioned the, classless idea, I kind of rebuffed it. But then the more I listened to her and the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. So the way I will run with these characters in Altamira, they have selected classes for their characters. They think that their characters are going to be, but they may well find out in these prelude sessions they're not good at what they thought they wanted to be, and they may wind up changing classes. If someone wanted to be a thief but figures out pretty quickly they're not good at it, vis-a-vis Tim's character, then maybe they will be choosing a different class. I think that's a really fun mechanism, and I'm straight ganking that from you, Anna.
Yeah, that's good. And also one little caveat: when you run classless, doesn't mean that if one player wants to play a straight class, he can. He can just choose exactly the choices he would have made as a class.
No, that's right. Yeah, and
so it doesn't. Yeah, you can. I can actually in my game, my rules, I can insert a standard 5e character, and they will be fairly leveled, and it would work, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if I'm doing it the same way, because these PCs all will have classes. By the time they come back to, the second part of the book and they're adults, they will have classes. But I'm using that sort of classless idea or mechanism as they start young, that, well, this child may think they want to be a thief, or maybe has peeked through the window of the local magic shop and thinks they want to study to be a magic user, but perhaps has absolutely no proclivity for it whatsoever, or maybe has a childhood event which changes that idea or that dream. I think that's a fun mechanism to play. But Jay, back to Altamira, I just say, Yeah, like the common stuff of life, the taverns and the public houses and merchant and social circles, those kinds of things which give color to a city.
So I was trying to get Darling to answer, because I know she's on. She may be lurking now. What is the bar, the seedy bar, which is on the border between the government? It's really right about here on the map, right at the border of the low quarter. And what's the name of the bar, Tim? You don't? Oh man, Anna.
Something dog, right?
Yes, the Salty Dog.
Oh,
Salty
is that the
dog, there we
salty
go.
dog? Okay.
The Salty Dog. And if anyone can tell me
Salty
where that
dog.
comes from, kudos to you. Anyone out there know where the Salty Dog comes from?
That's where
There's a Salty Dog pub somewhere.
It's a song.
yeah.
You'll never. It's a hard group to get. It's from the '60s. So no, Salty Dog is a Salty Dog is a song from Procol Harum. Whiter Shade of Pale.
Oh,
That band,
okay.
yes. Okay.
Oh.
It's also a cocktail.
It is a cocktail. So that's a seedy bar. Here, so some of the other places there, John, the Bobette Rooming House, which is where a lot of the workers live. Don't tell me where that came from, Tim. So Amy's probably laughing.
Bobette.
The
It's
Bobette.
a real place.
Yes, Hoops' Fruit Market.
Oops.
Vineyard Garden is the ritzy establishment in town. Kumquat, yes.
What?
Good old Hoops. Hoops predates the city being there. Other places, there's I could go on and on. There's a ton of different establishments. There is the Scintillating Scepter movie house. Grand Theater.
Dapper Dan's.
Yes, there's plenty of those places here. The Inn of the Lonely Dove is another one.
I like the Scintillating Scepter. That's
Yes, it's actually owned by Lord Gazumba himself. He owns the Scintillating Scepter, and
A
that's
lot
where
of
all
these
the
were advertised in
entertainment
the
comes.
first joust.
A lot of wonderful places. John, I can share those with you, of course. If
Yeah.
you know those different types, and they're going in. They'll all be going in. Plus, we need to add some because we need like 150 locations. Alan's working on that. My guys are working on adding in some locations for me, and that's a good thing. They're helping out. So it's
fantastic.
Something comes up, John, that you want to make too. We can do that. So yeah, everyday life will be handled. Question for you, John. What do you think your goal is going to be like when they get to like 5th level? You have an idea, a general idea?
Yeah. So my goal will be to have successfully coaxed Bill the Master Crafter and his wife to moving to Tennessee. That is still a goal I've not given up on yet. So I think by the time you're talking 5th level, the goal would be that they would be embroiled in some central narratives of the campaign. So we'll have some of the just the getting to know one another and the one-off adventures. The title of the campaign, Tears of Aird, I actually have. That is something that I have it's not just a random name. I've got a thought around that. Still want to actually do some strategy with Stephen Chanot. And I think there's a way I can tie this to the lore of his game world and make that fun. But I would still easily see, I would think still by 5th level, it's quite likely this party is still operating from this area of Altamira as a base of operations. They may be ranging out into other environs, but I don't see them gone from this area by level 5.
So, a couple other things, and this is a good mention for internal strife. Skarshek said, "Who is in the merchant in town that anyone who buys anyone from?" Now, good question. That's another good thing. I use the von title, so you'll have Klaus von Poppen, Rolf von Kapse, and they all are in they're like mobsters almost. Now they don't kill, but it is the Merchant Coalition is very not underhanded, so they charge extra prices. They're not beyond extorting people, and so a lot of the player characters are children of them.
Business is war, Jay. Business is war.
Yes, exactly. So that is where that comes from. So there's a lot of those So dealing with the merchants in town, the coalition of them can be a challenge as well. Great point, Scarshak. That's
But
another.
Pete and John's,
Yes, Pete and John's
they're
Teamster
straight
service.
shooters. They're straight shooters.
shooters. And they know Abel Carter is banned from the area. So just note that it's in Greyhawk, so you don't even have to worry about that. We couldn't use that name anyway, but Abel Carter Coaching Company is banned from entering
Nothing falls off of Pete and John's wagons. I can tell you that.
And that's another group. So, well, John, that's good to hear. So, some notations. Anna, we're going to discuss this real quick. So, just note, Anna, John, and you'll like this. We're not just doing Altamira. What are we going to be doing about this area? How far around are we going to do outside of it?
Now you're getting me. Well, no, I'm kidding. We are going to. I've done 100 by 100 miles roughly.
Yep.
That we have to. That's the area that I've developed to some degree, and then we move into that area. There is probably about 4 by 4 miles. Or 3, but that's just a little bit. I will definitely do 10 miles wide. That will be the minimum that we will develop to absolute detail porta potty scale, 5 feet per pixel,
right,
so to speak. So and we can probably do double that, 30 miles. It depends a little bit on what direction, and it's not that many. We will have the raw material. I think it will be more of how much can we fit in on a book page, how many pages do we get in
right.
the book, what can we fit on a poster, so to speak. Those will be the limits.
And are you going to have a street view like Google Earth? Or are you going to have the street view where you can see the buildings?
The buildings, definitely, yes. Yeah. So we will have and I will do what I've done for my own campaign. I will simply take this map that is 5 feet per pixel, blow it up to 10 pixels per 5 feet, and that means that's great for outdoors. Like if you want to go down the street and see what houses are there, fights, encounters in the city, encounters in the wilderness areas around and stuff, then 10 pixels per 5 feet is excellent, because that gives enough detail to maneuver around trees, and you see individual trees and stuff. But it also gives enough scope so you can have a big battle over a large area where you can actually have chases, and you can have flying creatures coming in, and you can see things a mile away, so you can start maneuvering long before the actual encounter starts, which gives a new interesting dimension that most D&D combat never gets to, so to speak.
Here's the plan. Anna will develop this map at that level. In addition, with Kickstarter goals reached, we want Alyssa to do one of her style maps too.
Yep.
So we'll have both. Sound good?
And,
so
and also,
yes. Good. Good.
Also, we have in the digital realm, meaning there's nothing stopping us, even if we can't make it onto a poster map or something, that we might do VDT maps and stuff that are more detailed, that we don't have to take publishing constraints when it comes to format of paper and stuff and books, that we can actually make digital versions of them that can be useful for VDTs and stuff like that.
And if I heard correctly earlier, you're talking about artwork assets, maybe 3D print assets. If I'm understanding sort of the vision here correctly, what you will have created is something that cannot just be played in Greyhawk or in Aird.
Exactly.
It's really a setting that can be plugged in anywhere, whether I'm playing in the Forgotten Realms or I'm playing some indie system. It reminds me. I remember one of the first really cool built out cities, was the Lankmar book. That captured my imagination as a kid. I've got a copy of it here. And yeah, exactly. And so this idea that you can have this, not only a city setting, but I love the fact that there are the environs or the surrounds, which sort of create the halo effect of the geography that can be just dropped and plugged into any setting. And then you have the content, you have the 3D print artifacts, you have the artwork, maybe you'll even have eventually STLs for minis that represent
definitely
leaders.
STLs for buildings.
Yep.
Gamescape's part of it. Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic.
Just note, it's not just going to be a book; it's a box set. So in the box set will be the book. We'll figure out how to do digital assets. Will be adventure cards, just like in the Free City Grout box set. I'm going to have adventure cards for this thing, at least 10 of specific little 2-page adventures that you're going to be able to run. With the Kickstarter goals, we're going to have all that. I want it to be. It's based on how great this was. So that's what we're going to have. Yeah, there it is. So that's Johnny Cash too. I did not know Johnny. Maybe they
cover.
redid Johnny Cash's song, or Johnny Cash did their redid their song.
Zudrak said that. I don't get credit.
Yeah, nice. Like the party
Cool.
with Salty Dog was my song.
Well,
So
and you know what's going to be really good about that, Jay, is first of all, everything I know that you put out is going to be first class.
thank you.
But you also have to compliment the folks at TLG. I mean, I've got a bunch of their stuff here.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Their print quality, the stuff that they put into their content, it is first class. This is going to be a really nice set working with Steven.
I'm trying to get Chuck on. I'm just like, because we got 30 minutes left. I'm like 30 minutes. Get home. I'm trying. So I'm trying to get him on because we got all the
Ever
giveaways from
mysterious
Chuck.
Tim
So,
made it.
question: what was the book John mentioned earlier where Hamlet gets ransacked? That was his first series of campaigns, Michael. That was.
Oh,
his,
yes. Sorry. So that's,
Yeah.
well, you heard me referring to book 1 and book 2.
Yeah.
In my Greyhawk Awakening campaign, I have separate storylines with separate groups of PCs, and I'm dividing them as books. So book 1 was, I think, 80 something streams with a certain group of PCs. Now we're in book 2. And then there will also be a book 3. And once I'm in book 3, back to Jay's question of what homebrew things of significance will I have done, I'm really looking forward to Dark Sun in Greyhawk. I've already got plans and stuff I'm working on for that. But
That's cool.
no, I think the Altamira box set you guys are working on is going to be fantastic.
Well, we
I do want to add about John sacking of Hamlet. If you are outraged, it's fine. That is totally, I'm with you. I was outraged.
Yeah, you got us worried there, John.
I was
We saw
outraged.
Giroux hanging from a tree. That's traumatic.
Yes. Like, well,
That's very traumatic. Come on here.
yeah, it was the party, they came
Yep.
back, they were rushing to get back to Hamlet toward the end of the book. And as they came
That
through the
darn party.
They saw smoke rising in the sky, and the city was decimated, and bodies strewn in the streets, and burned, flayed, and nailed to the tree. And
John, be honest.
Osler
John, be
Gundigut
honest.
was dangling from a.
So, John, could they have stopped that from happening?
Not by that point of the game, no.
But they could have earlier.
They weren't even there. They weren't even in that area when all that was happening. So
John,
it would have
they
been.
could have stopped it. Is that what you're saying?
There could have been ways. Yes, there could
All
have been.
right, so it's their fault. Okay, I just wanted to-
It's someone's
I wanted to
fault.
touch it. It's their fault. I knew it.
It's someone's
That was
fault.
a
Someone
dark
must
day.
be blamed all the time. You get to that point where you know that it must be blamed. Someone must be. So another thing, John, that we didn't even mention is that the city is lacking on heraldry for Juan Carlos and his and the city watch and all. When that needs to be developed up too, and Anna's the genius on that, and that'll come. That'll come as well. We have the City of Altamira and the Bounty Hunters Guild heraldry. That is it currently. So we need to add that, and it'll be the Order of Altamira, which will stay as well. So, and Anna, we'll come with ideas down the road.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't need to be done this very minute here, but let me just so I can show you what we're talking about. That Anna really helped me with this stuff. I mean, without Anna, I don't know where would we be, Anna. We'd be up Schitt's Creek. Oh, that was a TV show, right? So this is
It's a town in my campaign.
yeah, it is. That's it. And there's the Altamira Guild. I'm sorry, that's the City of Altamira. What is that?
I just came up with that as for the guard. It's the 3 citadels and the Tower of Elana.
That's
That
interesting.
is a cool one. That's a good one.
That's
Yep.
smart. And then here's the Bounty Hunters Guild symbol.
Hold it up again. I'll take a screenshot.
So we have those.
Thank you.
Nice.
She's just making you feel good, Tim.
I know. Anna's a sweetheart.
It's not that good.
All right, John, what other questions do you have? Since this is going to be your setting that you're going to run first.
What does it take to actually get Chuck on time?
Not having an issue.
I'm teasing. teasing.
I know.
Chuck's
He's
got a
not
lot going
responded
on.
to any of my texts in the last 45 minutes, which is
Well,
does
I
not
hope he's
bode
okay.
well.
I'm a. By the way, anyone that does I love Chuck, and he's been in my home, and he ran a great game for me a week ago. Says he's a big part of everything we do here.
Follow.
So, questions.
Please.
Well,
And
I
from the
think
audience.
what I had earlier, Anna, you mentioned how far out from the city you can go. How far out would you need to go to be mapping the elven houses?
Oh,
Depends on where we put them. I don't think we have any that close right now, but yeah.
I think in that scale, John, it's way too far. I think.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
So, but what's going to happen is eventually, I think what we'll do is we're going to ask Stephen for an editable PSD of this. Once we get these areas entered, and we're just going to edit this map just like Anna would do for mine and put in like those key locations, because they're going to have to add Altamira to this map, right? They're going to have to add it here, and then we're going to add in Hearthguard Keep and all into this map if it's outside that area of 15. Is that radius or diameter, Anna? For that 15.
Well, that 15, that is diameter.
That's diameter. So 7.5
but it
miles
depends.
each
Yeah.
direction. Yeah,
That's
exactly,
what we have
Kafir.
in. But I'm right now. I've done way more. We have like a radius of 50 miles that we can from the city that we have roughly that we can play with, so to speak. So then
Okay.
it's more like how much can we actually fit in on a book page or at what scale and stuff like that. So there will be. I wanted to have a lot of raw materials. There will be publishing decisions at the end, so to speak. Because we can only fit so much on a 36 by 24 poster or and an 8.5 by 11 book page, etc.
But this map will be edited somehow and available, even if it's only available in a download and not in a full print because they don't want to go back and re-edit it. But that will happen. All right. So
hopefully they will make future versions of this map that will include it. They
Well,
have to start doing
that's
like
the
me. They have to
point,
revise it. Once
I will
a year
add all
and
those
send it out.
estates.
Yep.
We're going to have we have a lot of meetings coming up. We will add in those estates, and there's like 18
I mean, I really think this. I mean, I don't think Stephen would be upset by. I think this whole map needs to be redone. It's very cool, but the resolution.
I get worried when you said that. I get worried.
The resolution is not that detailed. When you zoom in, it's not super high res. I think the whole map could be improved, Anna.
Every map can be improved, especially mine. So yeah, you can always make better maps. That's what I do. I make a new version of. I improve my map every year, so I've spent like a month every year.
I think what they do is they do a big map, and then when they need to go close, they do a
thanks, Patrick.
Blow up of an area regionally.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, Amy, you having fun sitting here hanging out with us?
It is. It's an eye opener, and I'm learning. Lots.
Yes, learning how much
Cool.
we've never not been nerds our whole life.
Oh well. Nerds, trust me.
It's in the zeitgeist now.
But now we're on the grand stage here on Twitch, so just got to do that. And we're so happy. The community is so awesome. All right, so
here's another question I have for you. It seems to me from what I've seen that a lot of the character and identity of the Order of Altamira now in this setting has been its proximity to the Pomage and the humanoid invasions for which the citadels in many cases were constructed. Is there an equivalent here where this is situated on the map to have that sort of the Pomage provocation for these citadels to have been formed?
So
go away.
The Twilight Wood is perfect as it.
What is Tim talking about there?
I'm cleaning my fingernails with my knife.
He opened a penknife and started cleaning.
And she was like, "Don't do that, don't do that." And I'm like, "Well, I don't like it. Go away."
Some things never change between siblings. So
Not really.
we haven't expanded beyond Twilight Wood equals sus as far as Pomage goes. But the Order of Altamira here is going to be, here's the background on it, everyone. Kaomar, which is Keoland. Okay, it is Keoland. As you look, it almost looks like it when it runs up that direction. The knights are going to be coming from Kaomar. And have formed it to defend and open up trade routes to the east and to the northeast, and that's the whole point of the Order of Ulick, knowing how vile and how dangerous this area of the Twilight Wood is. We haven't expanded into that Pomage humanoid deal, and that's why I haven't really talked about them being an antithesis. We got all sorts of. We got the sun. I haven't even talked about the fishmen yet, coming from the mountains and the underdark, or the under areas of the mountains yet. I haven't even talked about that yet. So yeah, Jay, there's all sorts of wonderful things. We're going to have baddies. But that's a good point, John. I haven't, maybe that's something I should discuss with Steven. Where is the humanoids closest to this area? And it could be, and Rob, it could be this land of the ogres, or I don't know, Devil's Wood. It could be this Gelderland, just forest instead of mountains. It could be that. So we'll find out. From it. And like I said, it's just the Elven realms are flipped. But I think keeping it in a city thought, I like where we have a couple other new things that we're bringing out, and not just fighting the humanoids, kind of giving it a little bit more of a unique flavor. Haunted Highlands by Casey Christophers is amazing. Yeah, it is. Escadia. I have Escadia. In fact, I'm using Escadia. That's Callus. Michael, I'm using these two as my format style. All right, Free City of Escadia, Jack of Lies, and Callus. All right, those two. I'm using them to get my style down on how they want stuff in city format. Yep. So, great question though. But I think with that 15-mile diameter that Anna's talking about, that delves deep. And this is the Twilight Wood right here. Right, all this over is in the Twilight. Anything on that side of the river is going to be in the Twilight Woods. So we're going to go. If you're looking at 7.5 miles each direction, we're going to go fairly far into the Twilight Woods. Just
plenty of area to get into trouble.
Plenty of stuff.
You don't have to go far to get in serious trouble.
Up here, we're going to have estates. We're going to have estates up here. We're going to have some other things up in this area, because there's plenty of spots.
Yeah, up the hill out of the stink.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, Chuck, who's going to be playing on Saturday, September 10th, let's hope, in 2 Drink Minimum, with his new character, a Crusader class, and he hasn't decided yet if it's Heronius or Tritharian, will be hiring 2 Drink Minimum to go to one of these estates coming up in the adventure that we will be running 2 weeks from Saturday. 2 weeks in less than 2 weeks. What's that?
For revenge?
I'm not telling you. I can't go into more detail than that. Although, just note the name of the adventure is The New God. There you go. So with Ed, Tony, Eric, Anna, and Eric Mengi, and that is coming up less than 2 weeks. Our next big event, and that is for content for the box set too. So
any Crusader of their worth knows there is no new God.
The new God.
So something must be done.
Yeah, absolutely. So of course, there's an orc tribe in the God. That's good to hear. All right, so John, Rob, who knows everything that we need to know about it, says there's a huge orc tribe in the Gelderland. That's perfect. All right, good. So it fits. It fits perfectly. It's just Celine's flipped. That's the only difference. So very cool.
You know what a gelding is, right?
Yeah.
What, a gelding? That's someone who gets
cattle that's had its ability to procreate removed.
Snip, snip.
Don't go in that wood. Be careful.
Yeah, you knew that. Come on.
I knew a horse that was geldings. Yeah.
Yeah, but so a gelder is somebody who does that. So I'm telling you, be careful.
But what is Gilder in The Princess Bride?
Gildor is totally different. Gelder is something else.
Hey, Blue. So let's see. We got 20 minutes left here. I guess we're going to be Chuckless, but I'm trying. He probably feels real bad.
Chuckless. That was it. Mm-hmm.
Chuckless. Yeah.
Thank you, Lexfire.
Great to see you. Great to see you, George.
Hi, George. Yep.
So
a gelder will have a knife like this.
The mongrels of the putrid tongue tool.
Well,
I did not know that. A Gelderland is a type of horse too, huh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did not know that.
I did not either.
They can't reproduce. That's why they don't race as much as they used to, because stud fees are huge now. So, all right. Note that a lot of this discussion has been on what's happening here because it's all homebrew, right? It's all from my homebrew campaign. John's doing new homebrew. Wanted to bring up some other things that everyone's doing here, and note that it's okay, especially in Greyhawk. Make Greyhawk your own. It's okay if you homebrew something. It does not matter. If you take something from Greyhawk and you screw it up, screw around with it, right? If you screw around, like, and even I know, you know who did the most screwing around? The Living Greyhawk era. They killed everyone. Okay, right? Everyone dies in the Living Greyhawk era during third edition.
They were a
So,
little excessive.
yes, and note that that's perfectly okay because you know, it's technically not published source, and
I guess
the Gelder-
apparently Gelderland is a region in the Netherlands.
So, Jay, I have another question for
Please.
you, and then also a question for the rest of our panel and the chat. For the panel and the chat,
Please.
you know, what ideas would you guys like to see explored in my new campaign? Whether those be, you know, NPC storylines, world storylines, or even just certain mechanisms. Anything in the chat people would like to see. Doesn't mean I'll necessarily. This is not, you know, going to be a you know, committee decision, but I love getting ideas and would certainly love to get some ideas from the chatters or the panel here. For you, Jay, put you on the spot.
That's easy.
What story would you like to see told in the city of Altamira that would be better told by someone else? In other words, instead of by you telling it, it's a story, ergo probably means it's not too central to anything because you're going to want to have sort of creative control over that. But what stories would you like to see told in the city?
I want internal strife developed. That's easy. So whether if you have a rogue or thief in the class, I want to see some Thieves Guild internal fighting going on. If you have a bounty hunter, I want to see like key individuals that are targeted that the guild's got to go after, or they got to collect information, or they get somehow thrown into the Thieves Guild conflict. I want to see, you know, some of that. That's what I want developed. I would love to see, like, if there's someone who's interested in dealing with the merchants, I want to see how, you know, them try and stomp out merchant corruption. It could be any of those things.
I love that.
That develop. That's why I think we all agree, and you don't have to agree with me, but I'm telling you, this is the Free Sea Grok box set is the best Greyhawk publication ever brought out, period. Just because of all the side adventures and little side barbs that are in these books and in the adventure cards
Like all the restaurants are suffering because the millers are charging too much money to grind the flour. And now there's going to have to be somebody assassinated to get this stuff coming through so they can bake some bread because they're ruining all the business in the restaurants.
There is nothing wrong with developing that at a lower level, doing stuff like that. I mean,
Not at all.
All sorts of ideas.
Anna had turnip farming in her level
Yeah.
0. So.
Yep. Turnips were the surviving
that's
crop
No,
that made it. Yep.
I love that, Jay. That's actually kind of right in the alley that I wanted to pursue anyway. With the chat, you've got someone suggesting a country of Kender who are then annihilated.
that was, yeah, I think that was a joke.
Mike Disney, Cloaks of Invisibility. That was a reference to today's game. Robert said
Every game.
How Ashrin is crossed over to Aird so she can bring forward the demise of two worlds. One of my least favorite NPCs ever created. Steve said your Aird campaign needs non-dragon reptiles. No, that is not happening. No dinosaurs, Steve. No.
Yes, Troy, you know all the same. Turnip farming, assassinations, yes. Assassinations of turnip farmers. Trust me, when I get with John off camera about the boogeyman of Altamira, that's enough to scare the shit out of any character. Right? Tim's just shaking his head because it is really, really vile. So
I mean, I can stomach it because all my characters are high enough level to stay away from that nonsense, but
yes. It is really bad. So, but
it's bad.
Yeah, I love, and I always look at and take suggestions, especially from my players. I got a lot of stuff coming in. Alan gave me a bunch, 5 or 6 locations. Walt gave me a couple locations, and I'm taking notes down, incorporating the ideas in there. No dinos, no vampires,
no guns
in the city at all. vampires are zip. So I don't want to hear about a vampire Thrommel or any of that. First of all, I can't use Thrommel.
Well, there was
I
a
can't use
vampire
it.
before.
Nothing Twilightish
well,
in there.
Yes.
Yeah, where was that vampire that Leuven ran into that one time?
That was in I believe in the southern Principality Ulick out in Archit.
Okay, well,
it was in Archit.
Yeah, it was in a big festival.
Yeah, it was.
Greg.
Oh no, it was in Tring Lee. It was in Tring Lee. Yeah.
Oh, Tringley.
Yeah.
Can I make a suggestion? Is it possible?
Yes, go. You can.
Okay. All right. So this is like a mythical world, right?
Sure.
So, like, how about a guild that gets together to solve magical crimes or investigate magical crimes? Do you have something like that?
I like that.
That's a good one. That a little bit the bounty hunters take specialized missions where there's retrieval, but not like they could actually work with the Guild of Magic users and go after this something that happened magically. It's a great connection.
Or like investigate necromancy to get rid of it. Didn't you talk about necromancers
there you
being
go.
allowed?
Necromancers are not allowed in the guild, and they're not allowed the guild of. They're not allowed in the guild either in Greyhawk. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're not.
They're forbidden.
They're forbidden. Absolutely. So let's talk about one other thing that we did not discuss, John, and that is that there is a ranking of mercenary guild mercenary, and some of these will have to change names too, one or two of them. But these are the rankings of mercenary groups that have happened in Altamira. Let me make it a little smaller.
The UDAS.
Yeah. So the Ulick Defenders Against Slavery, the Night Stalkers. Oh God, the Huntsman, the Omega
Patrol.
Yes.
The last patrol you'll ever need.
Yes. The Reborn, Theo's Heroes. That's run by a Jester as the leader. Two Drink Minimum has moved their way up.
Oh, wow.
They're up. They're moved. The Windborn, the Slav Squad's on here now too, which is
not the bottom. Yeah,
not at the bottom. The Fighters of the Light in Altamira have gone down, and the Altamira Enforcers are way at the bottom because most of them are dead. So that's where we are for our listing of the Altamira mercenary groups rated in positive notoriety. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of these are actual PC groups. Okay, so John, 9 of them are actual groups of player characters. Yeah, and that's happening over the time. But now there can be interaction with these groups as well, just like there is. And they develop them starting in the City of Greyhawk box set, and they further develop them in From the Ashes, which is one of the reasons I love about them. The new recruits, Scar Shack, are not on here because it's not. They haven't. I've asked them for names for those players, so they're still just meandering about. The new recruits need to get a registered mercenary guild name, and they have not done that yet, Scar Shack. So once they do that, I will put them on this list, but they are not there now. So
I would call them the expectant.
But they're a real good group of adventurers too. With Scar Shack, you know that. So there's another thing, John, that interaction with mercenary groups. So they eventually these group of characters want to bond together and form a guild or form a group of adventurers, and then they can actually go. There's a mercenary guild hall where they can. It's just almost like there's one in Greyhawk, there's one in Harby, my major setting, so they can take posted adventures and take. Yeah, it's almost like BattleTech, Tim, right? Where they can take hired official adventures. You can do underhanded stuff too, and one of them even has the following. And this was done by John. This is done by Tim's dad a long time ago, so I want to share it. The Omega Patrol, little hovel. It's a redone warehouse. And this is the lower levels, and then we have the upper levels of it. So this is where this group hangs out. My gosh, I don't have the second page, damn. But this was done probably 15 to 20 years ago by your dad. So the second level has all their quarters and stuff. And there's meeting rooms and all the summoning.
It's got a big empty building, and you build the interior wall,
right?
So you can separate it out.
So your dad actually was kind enough to do this for us. Do the map for it. So yeah. which is cool. I mean,
Yeah.
and
That
that's
was
why,
around I know a little bit earlier we had played some Shadowrun and had a warehouse hideout as well. So
they actually hired a Sentinel, which is an NPC class from the Dragon magazine, to as a guard. You know, they got all that. So, all right. So we're approaching 9 o'clock here. Hopefully, everyone's enjoyed this discussion so far. We got over 100 people watching and chatting with us, and we really appreciate that. Magic Investigation Council. That's a good name. I'm going to write that down there.
or
Patrick.
the investigative liaison of the Magic Users Guild, or whatever guild that
Magic
You
and
take
Investigate.
interest
That's a
in
good
that.
name, Patrick. Thank you. Like I said, I'm not about taking other people's ideas. Plywood headstones. Mike, that's a disturbing one. So, hello, hey Jay, good to see you, man. Anna, what are your final thoughts here on this discussion and some other things that we're chatting about tonight, and home brewing, and some ideas from
I
John?
want
Maybe?
to say that you should definitely try it. And I think a lot of DMs have tried it without even realizing it, because my definition of homebrewing in a published setting will be the first time you run a story that runs something that is not a published module in that setting, then you're homebrewing. And a lot of people, you've probably already done it and afterwards realize it. So don't, to wet your feet is easy, and then keep at it, and it's fun and it's rewarding for players, and also very good for your own creativity to have to step out of that kind of closeted garden of pre-made adventures, so to speak. So yeah, so you want to go out in the big playground and have fun. It's very rewarding.
Yeah. So just note, we have to wipe anything that's published source, like the silent ones, quiet ones. We could change it to change it to the Magic Investigative Council or whatever. We have to swipe it of published source in the main box set, and I'll explain that something else beyond that. So
Carlos is good at that stuff. He's been doing it for years.
absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely. So Tim, what's your final thoughts, man, on this discussion?
it's your world. You can modify it as you see fit, even on a whim.
That's it. And as long as your players like it, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Or in Tim's case, if they hate it, it doesn't matter. Just kidding, Tim.
How true.
Sure.
Shattered Saint, thanks for the 5 gift subs. Thank you very much. So I want to say thank you. The community's been so fantastic, and things are rolling along real well, and looking forward to keeping the content rolling. I really appreciate that, Shattered. So John, give me some synopsis thoughts here about. I'm assuming this just perks up your excitement even more for your game starting next Sunday.
Yeah, no, absolutely it does. And, in synopsis, I would say thank you again to everyone for joining tonight. Thank you for the chatters who participated so much and gave us some good ideas and some absolutely awful ideas. But thank you. And Jay, again, I do think some of the specific content that we discussed tonight in Altamira with some of the things that are already going. You've mentioned a couple of those to me, but I got a lot more detail tonight, and it does dovetail nicely with what I was already envisioning for where I wanted to take the game. So I very much appreciate it. And I think as we're looking at seeing this incredible content come out from Anna and the artwork and everything that's going to be happening over the next year, I mean, what's the anticipated goal for publishing date?
Paper supply and all that. Honestly, we have a meeting when Steven's going to Britain, right? The UK. When he gets back, we're gonna have a big meeting with the whole crew. We're gonna start setting some dates. Boom, 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 boom. Got this by then. Got it, boom, boom, and then we're gonna be going from there. So I don't know. From that point, 6 to 9 months. I mean, honestly, because he's saying publishing the paper supply shortage issue is a big problem. So. That's a guess, but it doesn't matter. We have the content. I have the content. So, but I'd love to get this out by GaryCon next year. Don't know if that's going to happen, but it will be out.
Yeah, that's going to be fantastic. Yeah. And you and I will communicate a lot as this unfolds, because I do want to see some crossover. And then would it be okay if I went over my stream schedule this week real quick?
Oh yeah, we haven't done shout outs yet. This is just
okay.
Fun. Yeah,
all right.
Final thoughts on the topic. We'll do shout outs in a second.
No,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Lots of
I'm really looking forward to playing in this sandbox.
That's awesome. How long till Kickstarter starts up? Phantom, we're going to talk about that with Steven Chenault as well. Got to wait and see what you know, their ads are going to start. Once the ads start going out and all, it shouldn't be that long. But let's just wait and see what they say. Yeah, stateside as much as possible too, and that's another issue. They don't like doing Chinese paper or anything like that. So, yep, Arid is a great sandbox. So, Amy, thanks for hopping on too.
Gosh, it's such a pleasure. Thank you so much for letting me observe and learn.
Yeah.
and
Well, you can't
appreciate
you
guys
can't
are
imagine
doing.
how much you upgraded Tim's feet today. I mean, honestly.
Well, you
That's
know,
awesome.
I try to help my bro as much as I can.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, Sparky,
great.
that's awesome. A Kickstarter for the Free City Grok box set, Rovaljux. And just note the following. I know this is a high goal. My goal is to be the largest Kickstarter they've ever had. That's my goal. Whether that's feasible or not, we'll see. So that's the goal. The goal is to make it their number one Kickstarter ever, not $10 million. No, can you imagine? That would be not even close to $10 million. No.
Jay, when do you anticipate your box set coming out?
9
Yeah,
months. I'm hoping
9
6 to 9 months. That's the goal. But that, you know, with supply and all the other stuff we got to coordinate, maybe that's Fantasyland, but we'll see. It's still, I have to get
That's
cracking.
best case, right?
Awesome. That's
I have to get
awesome.
cracking on my end too. Anna's doing her part. I need to get cracking on my end. I got a ton of time coming, and we're gonna make sure it happens. Yeah, well, Lex, that's a good point. I edited my own stuff, and then the editor will edit it. So, you know, I'm really anal about that. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, we'll make, if you top the 8th printing and 5th printing, that's what we're shooting for. We're shooting for, Rob. I'm shooting for the biggest one ever. So we'll see. Who's doing the art? They will assign people to the art. We have some other people that I may want to get involved. There is a gentleman that Anna, he's the guy who develops the 3D renderings of buildings, the Swedish gentleman. I want to get him involved too, maybe, and do some 3D renderings of buildings in that playable hex style that he has. That's a possibility. We're going to have a kumquat recipe book. Gitano. I don't know anything that's made with kumquats. So, but that's funny. There'll be a lot of cool stuff. Plus we'll have.
They're great citrus fruit.
Yes, that's funny. Well, plus we'll have a lot of STLs being done by Gamescape 3D is going to do a lot of the buildings, a lot of renders for this too. So we're gonna have a ton of stuff. So let's do some shout outs as to what everyone's doing. Tim, what's going on? We'll do you first. We'll save the. We want John to go the longest, so we'll.
I'm being badgered incessantly by
Patrick.
some of my players about the Patrick and Mike about the underdogs, and based on a lot of things going on, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get to it in September. So probably after virtual GaryCon.
Virtual GaryCon, yeah.
Yeah, Greyhawk Con. Excuse me. Yeah, so because there's going to be some big changes. Some stuff's going down they don't know about yet. So it will lead to a lot of problems for them.
So Red Fist is finally being elevated to tribal leader.
You never know, John.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know that's not happening.
Of course, the reverse dungeon. I have let me see, Indicarus, Antiquitous, Phantom NJ, and Will Wicked Studios as my players in my reverse dungeon in virtual Greyhawk Con. And I'm looking forward to seeing what those rascals have to add to the game that I'm already trying to be rascally for anyway. So these poor tribal goblins are going to try to stop these mass murdering infiltrators from coming into their tribal area. So that should be great fun. I'm still developing the next city-state adventure because there will be some seafaring and waterborne operations going on.
That's awesome.
And
back to Dervilia, I love that character.
And
Duncan Joustley comes back.
Duncan Joustley will be there for virtual Greyhawk Con. Yes, of course.
And Sir Reginald.
Sir Reginald, yes.
Who was humiliated.
Hopefully will perform better than last time.
Humiliated last time as he was eliminated, the #1 seed, eliminated by the 16th seed in the first round of the joust.
And luckily his his humble nature, he was not humiliated. So, and that's about it, I think.
Awesome. Yes, Michael, but the requirement, we want to keep it to a paragraph per each, okay? Announcements are great. We want them aired and Greyhawk based, okay? So
One
you-
or two sentences, or
yeah,
keep it
something
short,
he can
like
throw out there and he
Twitter
can,
or less.
and he can elaborate. Twitter?
Twitter light,
Yeah.
something like go to XYZ's for the best whatever, and something pithy.
Very cool. And that makes total sense. So, Anna, what's going on?
Well, the 2022 edition of the 598 map is I'm updating the website right now, so I get all the versions of it out, and then I realized there's a bunch of other stuff that hasn't formally properly made it onto the website. So I'm updating all the download pages, and then it will be the easy zoom maps and stuff like that. So it's a major. I'm not changing any of the looks and stuff of the website. I did that like 6-8 months ago. So now it's more like filling up the content. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that has been hiding in my Patreon blog that is now going to have a proper place in, so you can easily find it and download and stuff from the website. So that's the big thing right now. And then next week it will be, I will put down the information about the new high tier. So if you want to be on the short list for having a custom ongoing customization of the map from me, then go in, because I will launch 10. There will be 10 seats, and it will be an experiment run for a year. And I will basically work have one shift per month that I work on whatever you want me to work on your Greyhawk maps, so to speak. So you can have, just like Jay and John has for their campaigns, have a custom version of the map. It could be custom heraldry and stuff like that too. So I will work like about 5 hours a month on each of your campaign.
You're down to 9 slots.
Well, I'm already down to I'm already down to 5 slots.
Okay, you're down to 4 slots.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you
Yes,
want to take advantage of that, man.
Yeah.
You want to take advantage of that.
So that will be, yes. So that will come. So I will put the details in and stuff. So and the thing is that people that are on the short list, they will know exactly what time and date that the thing will be launched, so they can be first on. And then when they have launched on, then I will tell the rest of the world when it's going to come, so to speak. So but I'm going to tell the details that will come next week. So those are the big thing. And it's, I realize there's a lot of stuff. There's probably about 25 gigabytes of stuff to upload to the website and stuff. So there will be heraldry, there will be a whole bunch of terrain only versions of the map, all the JPEG versions, the hexed versions, and a whole bunch of stuff like that. So, and then I will hope that I can put the template for my top tier patrons, put the template on heraldry and a little bit of a lesson. That's something I hope I can make next week. Otherwise, they will be pushed to the week after. Put the templates out there, make a little YouTube video or something, write up on how to do it. I'm also thinking about working with Linda Booth, a friend of mine, and we can make another mapping live stream per week, so we can have 2, one on Friday and one on some other night, so to speak, because we're going to work on some other projects that Alyssa and me hasn't touched before, so to speak. So that will be some cool. We can work on some 3D building stuff and some other stuff there too. And those mapping live streams will be, I think, more technical deep dives than we've done with Alyssa and me, so to speak. So that is something we will look into and see if we can do. And there will also be ramping up to the virtual Greyhawk Con. We will do some streaming tests on games, and then we will maybe do a full one of our regular games before the Living Greyhawk, or sorry, the Greyhawk Virtual Greyhawk Con. We will do a whole live streamed session before then of our regular game. Yeah, so we will do a couple of tests, and then if that works out, then we will do maybe do a whole stream session on a Sunday, our regular game before then. And then we will do with the 3 players rather that will come on. We will do a session 0. They have to pick one of various scenarios, which way they want to attack it, so to speak, because there will be several different versions, so they can tell we want to go run it that way or we want to run that way, so to speak. So they have to pick the which scenario they want to go in. It's all storming a keep, but it's which part of the storming force they want to be in, so to speak. Do they want to be in the main force? Do they do one of the special assignment things? Do they want to cover the rear or whatever, so to speak? So that will be like 4 or 5 different versions of it, and they can pick the unit they want to participate in.
Awesome.
Yep. So that's what's going on in the grand scheme of things. So yep. And I'm also working on the Altamira stuff too. So I'm putting together the big map that is currently 60 gigabyte. It will probably go up to 100 gigabyte before it's done. It's 40,960 pixels on each side, so to speak. So it's a lot of million megapixels in that one. And it's currently 16 layers, and it will probably go up to one. And that's only the splat map and the basic masks that I need in order to do the texture maps. And when we get into the textures, that will probably add another 20 layers or so. So now I'm going to go in and actually refine the splat map. That's for the upcoming week. And then once we have a splat map that we can work with, and that's basically asking Jay, where do you want the city? Where do you want agriculture? Where should forests go and stuff like that? Once we've done that, I will take it in and work on what the forest texture should look like, and so on and so forth, and then render all the textures, and then in Photoshop for a month and edit it, and then we're basically done. And that's probably about 3 months or 4 months from now. Yep.
Kitano, how long? We don't know. That's another thing we got to talk with Steven about printouts and in the book and all. And is there going to be an insert in there? We got to figure all that out still. That's all technical things that we will get worked out with the box set. So process.
Gaetano has a good question. If you take those 40,000 pixels and print them out, that we are probably talking something about 10 by 10 feet. But and that's where you see the problem. It's that there's no book page, no poster size really that would fit in a box set. That will be, if we print that out in a book, that will be fill the whole box set basically.
Yeah,
and stuff.
It's your wallpaper.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I mean. But that's the raw material,
right? And
then we will concentrate on. I will probably not edit all the texture of the whole area, so to speak. So I do the raw thing, and then we go in and fine edit in Photoshop more and more detailed. The further in we are, and then it's up to stretch goals that might be extended. So I'm basically
digital
covering my basic. I'm covering my bases, and then there will be editorial decisions based on time, money, printing considerations, etc. But this is something, it's done by all projects are like this. So there's always things that end up in the cutting room floor, so to speak. But I'm keeping that because that will make it into future versions of the Greyhawk map. So it's not being, that's why I'm doing a lot, because that way the work is already done. It can be expanded on. And I'm thinking already for my Elven campaign. It's not a coincidence that this is Elven territory.
Right.
So I'm already thinking about reusing this map for my future campaign as well, and then expanding it in 2 or 3 years' time.
Perfect. And that's the great thing. We got a lot of crossover going on, which is wonderful. Makes it all worthwhile. Thank you, Anna. So, John, let's hear what you got going on.
Yeah, well, we've already talked quite a bit tonight about the new campaign kicking off. So I'll just, again, in summary, Tears of Aird kicks off next Sunday at 1:30 Central. We'll be running every other week from 1:30 to 4:30. And I should just mention a little bit about the players. So if you watch The Rise of the Rune Lords, you'll see Jenny, who played Cade, and you'll see Thomas, who played Alcott. They will be carrying on in this new campaign. They'll be joined by 2 young ladies that Anna has been able to meet on Zoom, Rachel and Cameron. Delightful young ladies that they're D&D players. They're super creative. They're funny. I think this is going to be a really good player mix. And Jay, as you well know, as a DM, it's not just about your story or DMing. It's about the player mix that makes the magic. And I think this is really going to be a special group. Then Rory will be running every other week, as I mentioned, a new Greyhawk campaign, Fall of the Red Dawn. That'll be in the same time slot. So there'll be something every Sunday at 1:30 Central here on Blue Box. Then you have our ongoing Greyhawk Awakening. As I said, we're sort of in the thick of book 2. So we'll be back this Tuesday night at 5 o'clock Central. And the party is beneath the Temple of Hextor in the city of Spine Castle. They narrowly avoided TPK last week, really narrowly avoided. There was some good play on the part of the characters and some really good rolls on their behalf toward the end of it.
Awesome.
But they're still behind underneath the temple, and they're still pursuing. It's really closely adhering to Gary Julian's original Spine Castle module. And what also is cool about that is, Jay, I'm spinning that out into the virtual Greyhawk game that I have, Siege and Desperation. That particular session will be based on what would have happened had the undead army successfully been built beneath Spine Castle that was originally talked about in that module. And so I think that's kind of a fun spin-off from Gary's work that I'm going to put into VGHC. And then book 2 will be continuing every Tuesday night at 5 o'clock. And then this Wednesday's Lore Masters Arcanum is something I haven't done in about a year and a half. Streaming.
Good.
So, we have a lot of folks out there that are streaming. We're getting more and more streamers, D&D Twitch, Greyhawk streamers as well. And like I'm sure you do, I'm constantly getting questions on the type of technology I use, the tools that I use. And so I'll be walking through that on Wednesday night, everything from, stream decks and slobs or XSplit to cameras and audio, PC and setup and angles and VTTs and all of it. And just really try to make it a fun discussion on how we do what we do here at Blue Box, and then also how people can pick and choose pieces of that they like. And then we'll be back every Wednesday after that with new topics for LMA. And I just want to say I'm really glad to have been on tonight with the panel here. And Jay, thanks for having me.
My pleasure. It's been a great discussion, and like I said, I'm not beyond taking some of the ideas you have and utilizing them. So that's a great thing. So Yep. Codex of, it's a hard copy of Codex of Arid plus 3 digital copies of Codex of Arid. Okay.
Ooh.
All righty. So let's tell you what's going on here real
These
quick.
books are gorgeous.
Yep.
This Codex of Arid.
Yep. Absolutely. It is a great one. And let me put in here. I'm gonna hit the wrong button. I thought I was. Here's what's going on. I may only have 3 streams this upcoming week. Oh my God, 3. That's it. Right, Anna? Oh, it's like.
It's nothing.
That's nothing. Wednesday night. Islands of Greyhawk. We have not done islands discussion yet. Myself, Anna, and Mike.
Yep.
Greyhawk Mike Bridges, and we're going to talk the islands. So, of course, Lender will come up and a bunch of other ones, maybe some
And
obscure ones.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Alan Groh, he sent us some suggestions, and it was funny because I didn't know where half of those were. So it's kind of funny. So we got some homework to do, so to speak.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But there will be, I have some obscure little ones that you can kind of find if you really fine tune the and I will also have a little bit about small islands, tiny islands here and there that can be of interest that you can develop for your own. So I will take some that aren't named and stuff, but they're in interesting locations and that you can grab for your own game, so to speak. So that will be one of the things to do. And then we will talk about some of the iconic ones too, of course.
That's Wednesday. So Thursday night, new group of first levels in Hardby. Everyone will be there, but Walt's away. He'll be away on vacation. I usually love to split the group in half during low levels, and we started that last Thursday night. The Revenge of Mudge, which is from Shadows of the Halfling Hall, and then The Legend of Garthulga, which is actually published in Dungeon Magazine Adventure that actually takes place in the Gnarly in Greyhawk. There are going to be those 2 adventures going on with the group split in half. So with the first level. So that is Thursday night during our normal gaming time. Next week, barring a guest, we finish up the Wall of Fame discussion finally. Hidden Shrine of Tomoacon, Ghost Tower of Inverness, and the Saltmarsh series will be the discussion next week. We'll finish up all those Wall of Fame great modules. That's barring me having a guest, but there's still a chance for that guest. I'm working on it. But if the guest doesn't, then we'll have this. The week after, we know a set Legends and Lore. We're doing another Living Greyhawk Valuna on Wednesday, September 7th. So we haven't had the Valuna triads on yet. Casey was set that one up. That is a week from Wednesday. And 2 weeks from yesterday, I already showed the Greenwood and crew to drink minimum return for the New God. A Saturday night special event. Fun times in Greyhawk.
Yeah.
And Ed's character, Revelantor, made 7th level. So he has 4th level spells now. So he'll have some neat spells. Here we go. Last call for the 4 giveaways. The first winner will get the hardback book unless you are something you do not want it for some reason. All right? Last call. But you haven't gone over Puppets, Gargoyles, or Doom Grinder. I'm not going to go over them. Oh, one last thing. If you were planning on going to PAX Unplugged in December, let me know. And the reason I say that is I'm trying to set up panels, actual seminars live at PAX Unplugged. But they're like, who's your panel guests? And I'm not going to put down Mitch Cumstein or something stupid like that, like I would normally do back in the days. I'm going to actually put real people down. So, yeah, let me know if you're going to be at PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia that first weekend in October, so that I can add you in. I know you, Alex, will be there. I know you'll be there. So, yeah. Let me know. All right. All right, here we go. I'm going to do the giveaways here. I will probably hit a wrong button like I always freaking do. PAX is September. PAX is first weekend in December. I think it's December 7th, 8th, and 9th. It's one of those days. It's real early. It's the first weekend in December. It could be 4th, 5th, and 6th, whatever that first weekend is, Troy. I know you're not far away. December 1st through 3rd. Thank you, Mitch. I know you're going to be there too. Here we go. The winner, Tino, Monkey Boogers, wins the book.
Oh, awesome.
There you go, Tino. Congrats. Monkey Boogers wins the book. The 3, yeah, you got it. The 3 digital ones. Gabriel 420, congrats. I saw you on. Unremarkable Flesh Bag, who's on a roll there.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
Patrick, Canadian Ancient Gamer.
There you go.
All win a copy of the of that in digital. Now, please note, with Chuck not around today, he hasn't given me the freaking codes yet. All right, so I will make sure that I mark this down, and you'll get that code. Have them, I promise. Okay. So note that, and we're gonna raid. We're gonna go outside the box tonight because I raided into Bones for a birthday raid on Friday night. So we're going to raid another streamer and go back to the Bones Darling back and forth next week. I'm going to raid into the Grouch Couch tonight and give them a little love. All right. So let's go in with almost 100 in there. They have a thing called on Saturday night, Drunken Dragons. It's a little goofy, but who cares? Let's try. Let's give them, they come in and watch a lot and they talk and chat. So we're going to raid them. Anna, thank you. See you Wednesday. John, thank you. I can't wait for your show on Sunday. It's gonna be awesome. Tim, thanks for coming on. Amy, thank you for hanging out. It's great to see you. Yeah. Hey, we need to have another night out. We need to do another Ren Fair or something. Us old guys there. Oh my God, my hip.
Ren
I want it
Fair
to be
30 years later.
I want it to be in colder weather so I can wear a wool cloak and not
What would my
overheat.
costume
Yes.
be?
Thank you for that comment, Arcus, and thank you all. We really love the community. I'm gonna hit a wrong button here. We'll see you all Wednesday night, and John's on Tuesday, so make sure you go to John's game Tuesday night. That is 6 p.m. Eastern, correct?
Correct.
6 p.m. Eastern, 5 Central. It starts. So see you all then. Have a good one.
I try to join the mad chat.
Yes.
I always appreciate the mad chatting.
The
Tim.
mad chatters. Let's do the raid here. Everyone, hang in there.
Tim, your chats are often the maddest.
I'm afraid that I resemble that remark.
And your sister does not look surprised at all.
Why do you think I'm crazy?
Oh yeah, blame the system.
Look at this. 86. Awesome. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you later in the week. Have a nice one. All right. Make sure it went. Nice. 87 went in.
Yep, perfect.